And the strength of Centrals is seen with the fact that Rick McGowan is just making his way to the interchange bench. They rotate their players there, as we all know, which makes it horribly confusing, not only for the opposition coaches, but certainly for spectators too, and commentators. You're wondering who's on and who's off. But we're just about ready to begin this game. The umpires in charge are Keith Broadbridge. We have Craig Doddridge and also Jeff Brown, minus the Ridge. So the action just about ready to begin. We've got Schooler there to take this knockout, along with Brennan Jackson, the big man mountain from the South Adelaide Football Club. South will kick to the city end or the northern end, and Centrals, of course, to the southern end. Schooler gets the first tap out there. Let's see who can get away with this one. It is Centrals. No, they're falling on top of it. The umpire says play on. Picked up by Arnott. In towards centre half forward he goes. It's a big high kick. Up they go at a mark. A nice timely mark is taken here by Kruger. Caught with the ball as he went to play on there. Didn't know there was anybody behind him. There's a hand pass from the player there in Slade, got across to Bellow, and the State Squad rover has found his teammate. Oh, they went with a hand pass too, but it's intercepted here by South Adelaide here in Murray. That was Alan Murray who got caught with the ball there, and the free kick will go the way of Central District, and they will kick from about 20 metres out on a very slight angle. And going back there, the mummified face of that player down there is Kyden Forward.
Interesting to note, Doug, that Ford started on the full forward line. Originally in the paper they lined up with Daniel Healy, so obviously Alistair Clarkson going for a tall option across that full forward line.
Mark Soderstrom, see if you can sink this one through the middle for us.
Okay, I think he's on about a 45-degree angle, no more than 20 metres out, guides it nicely, and it looks good. The umpire doesn't move, the two fingers go up, and Central Districts have opened the account here at the 1 minute mark of the first quarter. Central Districts 1 goal 6. Obviously, South Adelaide yet to score.
Yes, that is the Mr. Clip match of the day here. Mr. Clip, of course, if you're looking for a business opportunity, they are selling franchises at the moment, and of course for gardening and also for lawns. And Boney sitting here beside me. Boney, you used to have one of those franchises not so long ago, didn't you?
I did. About 6 years I ran a Mr. Clip franchise. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get out there in the elements and the weather and get a bit of fitness and make some money.
Well, I know you'd want to be at the footy today, but on a day like today, it'd be nice out there with the mower. There's the bounce up. Would you believe that was little Slade who got the tap out, but Derek Murray in towards centre half forward. It's going to be picked up here, though, by Hicks. Here he is, Damien Hicks, coming through from half back in towards the centre of the ground, but up goes big Brennan Jackson, puts up one arm. It was just a little bit too much carry on it for him. There's a pack of players forming. The umpy says it's a free kick here to Central District, and going back there with that free kick will be that player. In towards centre half forward they go. We find it's going to be picked up here by South Adelaide. A hand pass from Manhood. Got it across here, though, to Alan Murray. Alan Murray with very, very good skills, and that is a beautiful kick, and it lands on the mark of the former Central player in Mark Damazzi.
Damazzi works back off the mark, looks into the centre. He finds Clay Sampson. Sampson will have an opportunity to play on. No, Stevens holds him up. Sampson works back, once again going wide out to the outer wing, looking for his player there, and South Adelaide are starting to move slowly into attack. They are yet to get the ball over their half forward line, and Lee Kruger has taken the mark just on the centre wing there.
I think a lot of people in Victor Harbour, they'll be interested in Lee Kruger's performance today. It's not his first game for South. Goes up towards centre half forward on the 50-metre line. A chance to pick it up there by Ormond Allen. Taps it along. It goes to a Central player. There's a hand pass that came out there, and a kick out there from half back there by the Central player in James Gowans. He got it down towards the centre. Looks like Steinberger. In towards centre half forward. A chance for Centrals to kick another goal here. This is Hamblin who kicks, and that is a magnificent kick for goal. And the Central supporters, they're very passionate up here, but on the Mr. Clip scoreboard, Centrals have got away to a great start there. 2 goals straight. That's 12. South Adelaide yet to score. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just the difference in confidence with both sides. You saw South Adelaide mucking around with the ball across the centre. As soon as the Centrals turned the ball over in their back half, straight up the middle, and Danny Stevens, great vision to find Hamlin, and great finish by the young fellow who's starting the game very well.
Conditions absolutely superb for footy. Would you like to be out there today, Mark?
It's absolutely sensational day, isn't it? There's just a little bit of cloud cover, probably around about 15, 16 degrees, but certainly no sign of rain at all.
4 minutes gone in the opening quarter here. The big game between topside Centrals and fourth team South Adelaide. Umpire puts the ball down. Up goes Schooler. Went high. Got the left hand to it. A hand pass there from Little Slade. Got it out in the direction of another one of the school teachers in the Central team, and Healy, his captain. He couldn't take it. Taken by Derek Murray, though. He gets it across here to Jackson Crabb. The umpy thought he was going to mark it. Blew the whistle, but wisely let it go on there. Crabb there with the left foot. That's a good one up towards full forward. Up went Brogan. Should have held that one. It came out of his hands, though, and the Central defence, as we know, is very, very strong. They'll come away with this one now, out towards half-back, and Steinberger takes the mark. He plays on immediately, gets it across there to Hopwood, down towards the wing. That should have been a free, perhaps, I thought. It's taken here, though, by South Adelaide. A hand pass from Rogers. That's good football by Timmy Rogers, the boy from Langhorne Creek. Over now to Chris Hall. Chris Hall in towards full forward. South Adelaide, a big chance here. It's come off hands. Here's a chance now for South. DeMazy was in there, couldn't pick it up. Picked up by the big boy in Brogan. Now a snapshot for goal by Carney. It's going to be marked, though, in that last line of defence by Central District. And taking that mark down there is the player it was Simon Arnott. That's who it was who got it on there too, Damien Hicks.
Okay, Hicks goes into the centre and finds Heath Hopwood. He's standing just about centre half back, dodges and weaves around Murray and looks to go up towards the wing, looking for Stevens, and in fact finds his man in Stevens. And Stevens works back off the mark quickly and goes in short. He's looking for Big Kynan Ford, the ex-Springvale Scorpion from Victoria. And the ball squared in to full forward there. The mark was spilled by Kim Cobb, but he's able to bring the ball to the front, and South Adelaide worked the ball out in the forward pocket for Central Districts.
Just a quick note, we see Dean Brogan, not good news for South Adelaide supporters, limping off the ground here, and I'm not sure whether perhaps he started the game with a slight injury or just in that last contest may have taken a knock to the leg, so not good news.
Nick, certainly in the warm-up it did look as though that Brogan was limping a little bit and did go to the bench to get some treatment just as the players were warming up.
It's the man of Steele coming on, Todd Steele. He's a spring-heeled lad, the boy from Wallunga. Number 9, he'll take his place down on the forward line. Brogan actually started up forward, which we found interesting too. Central's leading at this stage, though. 6 minutes gone in the opening quarter. On the Mr. Clip scoreboard, Central District 2 goals straight, 12. South Adelaide yet to score. There's the throw-in. It's going to be picked up here by Marco Bello. Bello now, the very, very high kick. It's a chance here for Centrals. The ball, though, drops short there. It was Danny Stevens using his weight. Couldn't take the mark. South Adelaide working overtime in defence there. There's a hand pass that really went to no man. There's a free kick played to Centrals right in front. And Marco Bello, the marketing manager, also up here at Centrals. He spends a lot of time at this Central District ground. A free kick almost directly in front, about 15 metres out. Nick?
Yeah, I think the little back pocket in Damien Clonan playing his 18th game is going to be very busy today. It looks like he's picking up Bello and Slade, the changing rovers, and not the ideal start for him. He'd be hoping to keep the two small forwards only to 1 or 2 goals, so hopefully he can pick them up from now on.
Okay, Bello is on a 45-degree angle, about 12 metres out, kicks truly. And we look at the score for the moment. Central Districts have kicked their 3rd goal and move on to 18. South yet to score. They've had the ball come down into their forward line on a couple of occasions, but they're yet to really put their authority onto the game, and they certainly need to move the ball out of the centre, because Central's midfield once again seem to be on top already just at the 7-minute mark.
They're so clean and crisp with their skills, Centrals, aren't they? And not just 1 or 2 players, but so many of them. He's one of them, of course, Marco Bello, a contender for one of those roving berths in the South Australian state team to take on the VFL in just a few weeks' time. There's the bounce up in the centre of the ground. Schooler and Jackson, 2 of the biggest guys in the SANFL. All Jackson scooped it back in under him. Probably if he was playing AFL, which he's not likely to do, but he may have been pinged for that one. But the umpire comes in and says it will be a bounce up in the centre of the ground.
I think, Doug, you're a little bit harsh on Big Brennan Jackson there, saying that he's not likely to play AFL. Anyway, the ball's bounced. Stevens roves the ball from the tap out. Central Districts are at centre half forward, but South Adelaide have picked up the ball. Johnson fumbles. Johnson still stays over the ball, tries to knock it out. Stevens for Central gives the ball back nicely, and cleverly Nathan Steinberger is found. He's played on. He's found Gowans. Gowans turns around, plays on, and kicks truly. Oh. And that was Gowans, the James variety, as opposed to the Chris variety.
I tell you what, they look so much the same, and yeah, it's a pity they weren't in different jumpers. I mean, South supporters would love to see one in a South Adelaide Guernsey. But yeah, James Gowan's number 28, who played senior footy at St Kilda, 4 senior matches and a number of reserves games. But they're class acts, aren't they? Comments from Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just a quick note, Doug. It looks like Jackson Crabb and Chris Hall are changing on the grandstand wing in the centre here, and it looks like they're picking up Nathan Steinburner, so that'll be some good clashes throughout the day.
Central District, 4 goals straight, 24 on the Mr Clip scoreboard. South yet to score. There's the bounce up, picked up here by Chris Hall in the centre after Schooler got the tap out. Schooler tries to charge through, went for a hand pass there. It's little Derek Murray, who is electrifying, or has been in some of the matches. A hand pass comes out to Chris Hall, the Port Power listed Hall. There's Rigney on the ground for South Adelaide. He got the hand pass away, pretty effective too. Over there to Jackson Crabb, a hand pass over his head, not terribly effective that time. It's Trent Mills there, the co-captain of South Adelaide, who goes for a kick. It's a bit of a scrubber, picked up this time by Derek Murray, but it will only find Heath Hopwood, I think. Down he went. He was met solidly there by the South Adelaide boy. A hand pass comes out. We'll pick up this South player. It looks like one of the co-captains in Sampson in towards goal, but there's Damien Hicks. What a player he's developed into. 170th game, I think I saw today, yes. Been a tremendous player. He goes in short and finds a teammate on the outer side of the ground.
Okay, the ball's kicked up to the wing towards Swatala. Swatala turns and plays on, looking for a man at centre-half forward. The South Adelaide defender puts his hands out and stops the ball, holds it up slightly. Murray comes out with the ball, but it's a terrific tackle by Central Districts on Murray, and umpire Broadbridge will ball it up. No, it's actually just travelled out of bounds, and the ball will be thrown in. Big Brennan Jackson at 202 centimetres and 110 kilos would probably look as comfortable in the World Wrestling Federation ring as he would here out on the wing here at Elizabeth Oval. But the ball's brought down from Brennan's big tap in, and we'll see another ball up.
And of course his opponent out there, Paul Schooler, is not exactly the smallest player around. He's actually a little bit taller, 1 centimetre taller I noticed than Brennan Jackson, but just a little bit lighter at 99 kilos. So there are a couple of heavyweights doing the ruck work here today. Damien Ardle played in the twos for Central District and played pretty well, I might add too. Taken here by Derek Murray, who's showing some pretty good form in these early stages. Hasn't got a lot to kick to up forward. Up went Trent Ormond-Allen, and using his defensive skills across half forward, knocks the ball over the boundary line.
And it might not be a bad tactic for the South Adelaide players here. Obviously been jumped early by Central Districts, and perhaps just settle the game down, perhaps knock it out of bounds, force a few ball ups and get themselves right back in the contest.
A throw it on the outer side of the ground. A beautiful backdrop there. The hills in the distance, of course, the big gum trees that are out there in the outer. South Adelaide a chance now. They're going forward through Trent Mills. He can't pick it up, and the umpire will come in and throw it in because the ball was knocked across the boundary line. And another throw in. Right by one of those big training lights, which seem to be standard these days, don't they, for just about any football club, whether it be at this level or country clubs or suburban clubs, anywhere you go. The training lights, I don't know how they got on 20, 30 years ago. Trained in the dark, I suppose. As the action now, it goes in towards centre half forward for South. Nothing terribly cohesive developing out of that, and the umpy coming in, and he will call for a bounce in that position. 60 metres out from goal, South Adelaide in attack. They desperately need a goal.
Okay, umpire Broadbridge, if we can get that out correctly there, Doug, goes for the bounce. It's a beautiful bounce, straight up and down. Brennan Jackson again competing in the ruck. The ball is held in, and it comes loose now through Central Districts. They've got their players running forward on the wing. Great tackle by Steinburner, and he holds up young Murray. And, actually it was a terrific tackle because he's actually been rewarded with the free kick. Steinburner's off, shows a clean set of heels, looks to centre half forward. There's a contest with Sampson. Kim Cobb roves the ball beautifully, has a bounce, running on the grandstand wing and finds his captain in Trent Mills, and actually Ormond-Allen. Ormond-Allen squares to centre half forward, and the mark is taken there at about 55 metres out, and the player is
That was
Jackson.
Chris Hall,
Yep.
I reckon. It was Chris Hall, yep. Goes in short with that one. It was knocked away. Picked up here, though, by Trent Ormond-Allen. And he wears number 1, so, yeah, you can understand why. I reckon all captains should wear number 1. I love that tradition down at, I think it's Port Magpies always have that, don't they?
I think it was the red hair that threw me, Doug, not just the number.
And Chris Hall, who was a beautiful, I was just about to say a beautiful kick of the ball, kicks into the mat on the mark, though, but it comes, rebounds back into the centre. Lee Kruger, who's had the ball a few times, that's a nice kick kick up towards full foot. Big leap from behind there by Steele. Couldn't take it. There's a hand pass that comes out. That was electrifying stuff, and the goal has been kicked by South Adelaide. It was Jackson Crabb got the hand pass from Alan Murray, and that will qualify for the best Brick and Pavers team effort of the day. That was electrifying stuff. It's South Adelaide's first score. They're 1 goal straight 6. Lee, they are trading Central's 4 goals straight 24. The Mr. Clip scoreboard. Gavin, you've got more scores for us.
Yes, thank you, Doug. West Adelaide 2 goals 1-13. Glenelg yet to score. Port 1-1-7 lead Sturt 3 points. North 2 straight goals 12 lead Norwood yet to score. Across the border, Geelong bolted 9 goals 155 lead the Bulldogs 3-3-21 34-point margin. Melbourne 9-2 56 lead the Kangaroos 6-7 43 a 13-point margin in favour of the Melbourne. Back to you.
Well, it looks like we've got, is that Mark Damasi coming off?
It's Jake Kearney.
It's, it's Jake Kearney, the young full forward. And Ashley Manuel is coming on for South Adelaide. That who's played a fair bit of footy at full-back this year. And not a bad sort of a player either. Nick?
Yeah, I think Greg Anderson will be happy with the last 5 or 6 minutes. The South boys bottled it up very well. Good contest in close, and managed to, even though Chris Hall, a couple of sloppy disposals, normally a very good complete player, but they managed to get a goal there, and great crumbing by Jackson Crabb, and as you can see, the blood getting wiped off of Kearney. I'm sure he'll be back on the oval soon.
There's the bounce up in the centre of the ground. Scooter grabbed the ball, and he was immediately set upon there by big Brennan Jackson. Held the ball to him, and the umpy will come in and bounce it once again, almost in the true centre of this Elizabeth Oval. It is in immaculate condition this afternoon. Superb conditions, a few clouds around, plenty of blue sky. In fact, the sun is being shaded or covered by a cloud at the moment. There's a hand pass that came out from Scooter. Gee, he's developed as a player, hasn't he? There's a big long kick by McGowan, goes in towards centre half foot. It's all South Adelaide as they knock the ball away. The crumbing though here by Centrals. Racing in there was James Gowans. He couldn't control it. A hand pass came out the back of him there. It was Alan Murray. Another hand pass from Manhood. A hand pass this time by the South Adelaide boy in Cobb. He got it across here to Trent Mills. He's caught by Bello. The umpy says play on. A good decision by the umpire too. It was Steele who went for a hand pass. Rather ill-directed though. And Daniel Healy picks it up. He gets another hand pass across there to Chris Gowans. Races through centre half foot. Beautiful skills onto Danny Stevens from 40 metres out. It's a funny old kick, but it's a goal. And Central District have kicked their 5th goal here for the afternoon. Been a sensational start on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. Central's 5 goals straight 30, leading South Adelaide 1 goal straight 6.
Yeah, mark that down to Marco Bello's great tackle here on the grandstand wing. Trent Mills had all the play, perhaps could have got rid of the ball slightly quicker, but tried to step inside, and great tackle by Marco Bello. And the follow-up pressure from the other Central players drew the mistake in the middle, and great finish there by Danny Stevens.
And we spoke earlier about the fact that Central Districts probably don't need to have a key forward who kicks 100 goals, because once again it was their midfield that created that goal, and they certainly have started well again. 16
minutes of the quarter gone. Boney's got the microphone. This is a worry. A mad keen Central man. He reckons he's going to have a crack at it for 30 seconds today as Derek Murray races through the centre, takes one bounce, kicks the ball long up towards full forward. Almost a mark taken by Centrals, but picking up the ball here is Trent Mills. He goes for a big long hand pass across in the direction there of Steele. Couldn't quite get it. A chance for South. They're trying to barge their way through. The umpy letting it go. There's Trent Ormond Allen in there for South Adelaide. And a whole lot of Centrals players. Paul Geister was down there too. The experienced campaigner. And the umpy comes in and calls for a bounce 20 metres out from the South goal. They trade at the moment on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. It's South 1 goal straight 6, but Central's 5 goals straight 30. Let's throw it over now to Mark Soderstrom. It's a long way from here, Mark.
Certainly is. The ball's bounced up. Harada doing the ruck work, which he was doing last week against Norwood as well. Brings the ball down, but Central again are very strong holding the ball in there, and we'll get another bounce.
So the score, the Mr. Clip scoreboard, it's 5 goals straight to Centrals. They are 30 points. South Adelaide 1 goal straight 6. 24 points the margin. We've played 17 minutes of the quarter. There's the bounce up. Comes off hands. Derek Murray again has the ball, but he's under a lot of pressure as he went to kick that one. It'll be taken away by Paul Thomas, the son of James, or Jamie. A one-handed or a juggling mark picked up here by Michael Stevens. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. He'll take 3 bounces. Will he take 4 bounces? Yes, he will. Will he take 5 bounces? No, he won't. But he kicks the ball. It's a mongrel punt kick in towards centre half forward. Still fairly effective, though. He's got 50 metres with this. The ball bounces fortuitously there for James Gowans. Beautiful pass to each other in Chris Gowans. And, the skill level of the Gowans brothers. Even if you're barrack for South, you've got to admire that. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, that's for sure, Doug. And once again, you saw the pressure around the ball, the boundary, the ball up, sorry. Central District's hard at the ball, broke the game free, and then they're very quick at running forward and great finish.
Gowans kicks truly, and once again, they've almost got a little bit of Cracker magic about them, those two Gowans. If you can recall Jimmy and Phil Cracker from North Melbourne in the 80s. And we have a quick look over at the board. Yet no team has kicked behind at all. It looks a very clean sheet there. Central 6 goals straight 36 to South 1 goal straight 6.
And Gavin has more score updates for us.
Yes, West Adelaide 3-1-19, lead Glenelg 1-1-7, Port 1-3-9, Trail Sturt 1-4-10, North 2-4-16, Norwood yet to score, and across the border, Geelong were 34 points up 10 minutes ago. They're only 9 points up now. Bulldogs are coming back, and Melbourne are up by 7 points over the Kangaroos.
Umpire Jeff Brown back in the centre here, goes for the bounce. We have Paul Sculler and Brennan Jackson from South Adelaide up against each other. No one wins the tap there. It goes straight to ground. Stevens is in there. Murray's in there. The ball comes out to Jackson. He looks for someone to give to. He's gone for Sampson out in the wing. Great play by Stevens from Central Districts. Stevens runs in towards centre half forward looking for Marco Bello. The kick's low. Bello can't pick it up, but it's going to be cleaned up here by Nick Manhood. He kicks to Tim Rogers out here on the wing. Rogers is running out. He's got 5 metres. He tries to balk, and then he decides to go on the left foot and cleverly finds safety in Jackson Crabb.
Jackson Crabb, very, very classy player for South Adelaide. Oh, spectacular mark. That is the Paradise Community Church mark of the day so far. It was Michael Stevens who rode high on the back of, his Port Power teammate in Derek Murray. His opponent in today's game, though, sensational stuff. Boys, Centrals are playing brilliant footy. They go for it again. It's one of the Gowans boys. I don't know how they even know who they are, because we don't. We can't pick out the difference between them. Here's a left foot kick for goal by Daniel Healy, and I think he's dobbed it. I think he's put it through. He has. And the Central supporters are simply applauding their team at the moment. This is in Champagne footy. It's their 7th goal straight. They've got 7 individual goal kickers, 7 straight on the Mr. Clip scoreboard, 7 goals straight, 42. South Adelaide 1 goal straight, 6.
Yeah, great example of Central District's pressure through the midfield. Jackson Crabb, who's having a sensational year, just struggled there. The central pressure just turned his kick a little bit, put it in the air, turned it over to Michael Stevens, and once again the Central boys running forward, and great finish by Daniel Healy. And long goals is definitely what he's recognised for.
You know what I'd do? I'd swing Peter Johnson to centre half forward. He's played up forward before, and he's a good grab. South just appear to be lacking that sort of player up forward. But anyway, we'll leave that to Greg Anderson. Greg, if you're listening, nothing personal there. But Clay Sampson gets the ball down towards half forward. Trent Ormond-Allen's in there battling for it. But Centrals will come away once again, and it's Hicks who's played sensationally. That is a courageous mark this time. That too is a contender for the Paradise Community Church mark of the day, and a 25-metre penalty paid here. And the player who will go back is it Brian Herrera? No, it's not him. Anyway, the ball goes in short, in towards the half-foot line. We'll pick up that player because that was a sensational mark.
I think it was Simon Arnott, Doug.
Simon Arnott, that's who it is. Bickies, as they love to call him. Loves his cricket too. Alan Border was his hero growing up in terms of sport. If you look at today's budget, all the information is there. As Peter Johnson, though, picks the ball up for South Adelaide. He's forced into a very hurried hand pass, not terribly effective. Another hand pass came out this time from Daniel Healy, and eventually the ball is knocked across the boundary line and a throw-in to take place.
And Doug, your request wasn't quite answered, but Brennan Jackson looks like he's taken up the key post at centre forward to give the South boys a tall target to go to. So Doug just calling the moves from everywhere.
Todd Steele on the ball. He's not a bad sort of a tap ruckman either. He's got plenty of springing his boot. Not needed this time though, because the ball's on the ground with that throw in. It's about 45 metres out from the Central goal. Central's done most of the attacking. 7 goals straight, 42. South Adelaide 1 goal straight, 6. We've played 23 minutes of the opening quarter.
Okay, the ball's bounced. Todd Steele in the ruck, looks to give to Clonan. Clonan can't quite take the ball. He's still at it. He's trying to kick the ball off the ground. Bello goes in. Still fumbling around. Oh, Clay Sampson's gone off and just about taken the fingers of young Murray Hamblin there, but the ball is taken out of bounds.
So the throw-in down here in front of our broadcast point. We're sitting here in the stand at the Elizabeth Oval. Magnificent location, just superb conditions. There's the throw-in. Kyden, Ford and Steele went for it. No one really effective. And Jackson Crabb wraps the ball up there with his opponent, and there's going to be a bounce up this time. It was Michael Stevens. Hasn't he started well?
He certainly has, and as we've mentioned, once again, that midfield really is on top. Okay, umpire Craig Doddridge is going to bounce, and we've got Kynan Ford in the ruck with his Pat Cash headband, competing against Todd Steele. Ford gets it down, looking to go inside. Gowans with a high tackle on Murray there. And Gowans has gone on with it there. There seems to be a bit of a scuffle in the centre of the ground there, but the ball comes out towards the wing. Brian Hereda has it and looks to go up forward, and his kick has been touched and has gone out of bounds. It was a great take by Slade, though.
Interesting to note, Mark, that no sooner than one of the Gowans gets in trouble, the tag team partners there as well, and you want to be pretty sure with your fists to take those boys on.
There's the throw in now. Schooler gets the tap out this time. He really has developed nicely as a tap ruckman. That, I think, was Nick Manhood in there, battling there with the Gowans boys. In towards centre half, or in towards the wing goes South Adelaide from that half-back position. Tim Rogers traps the ball. Nice hand pass this time. Got it across to Damazzi. On now to Ormond Allen. This is a nice little build-up. Jackson Crabb with it. He's very good on both sides of the body. Goes in towards full forward. It comes off hands, though. Central District defence is magnificent. And that man Hicks again. Hicks kicks and goes out towards the half-back line. That was a good one. It's 50 metres out from the central goal now. Picked up by Bickies. That's Arnott, of course. He kicks on now to Chris Gowans. Chris Gowans down towards half forward. Marco Bello from 60 metres. He's too far out and he's too elusive on this occasion for his opponent. Swings the ball in towards full forward. It's all Central District. And that is a good mark taken here by the big beanstalk in Paul Stuller. 40 metres out from goal. A falling mark. And probably another contender for the Paradise Community Church Mark of the Day.
Good move then by the ruckman. I'm not sure whether Alistair Clarkson actually put that one down, but Scholar just moved into the forward line as he lines up for a goal from about 40 out, puts it straight through the middle. And South Adelaide go on their merry way. 8 goals, 48 versus South Adelaide 1 goal, 6.
Okay, with South Adelaide being 7 goals down, Nick, what do you think Greg Anderson will have to say at quarter time? I mean, he certainly needs to make some moves and he needs to shut down this midfield of Central Districts. Yeah,
that's correct, Mark. I think the boys are struggling around the contest. Centrals are very good. They work in numbers around ball-ups and boundary throw-ins and perhaps just tighten the game up a little bit and perhaps tap the ball out of bounds and force some ball-ups and get their hands on the footy might be the key for them.
The Mr. Clip scoreboard shows Central District 8 goals straight, 48. That's right, 8 straight, 48. South Adelaide 1 straight, 6. South have had the ball up forward a few times, but Central's defence is just superb. The ball back in towards the centre of the ground. A hand pass there from little Derek Murray. He's been a wonderful player so far today. And there'll be a 50-metre penalty. There has to be, surely. We've got the umpire's director here, Shane Harris, writing down some notes sitting in front of us. And I wonder what he says about that one after the ball was kicked away. Good decision, he said. Good decision, he said. Fair enough. We might have a talk with Shane later on, maybe at half-time if he's got a minute or two. As we find there, it's Derek Murray going in towards centre half foot. Oh, good mark there. Simon Arnott once again, he's been a great player. Gets the ball across here to Chris Gowans. Gowans now takes one bounce, running through the centre of the ground. It's a big, long kick. These boys know how to play the game. Up went Chris, it was Cobb from behind. A hand pass, though, from Johnson came out there to Clonan. A kick off the ground in the direction of Kruger. He in opposition there to Healy. Could have been a free kick to Healy. Hasn't got it, yells big Lenny Firth here in the background. Lenny, you're getting a bit excited there, eh?
I always get excited. I tell you what, Centrals are very excited. Have a look at the goal kickers, mate.
They've got 8 individual goal kickers.
I'm waiting for someone from the back line to stand up.
I think it's against team rules to get more than 1 goal. Yeah, the way things are happening at the moment anyway. And South have also only got individual goal kickers. That's one. Just the one, that's right, Jackson Crabb. But the ball back now with Central District. Player there, dummies around an opponent. A big kick up towards the teeth of goal. Schooler! Almost a mark. Oh, and a kick off the ground by Bello, I think it was. And he's put it through for a minus score. He has broken the record. He's kicked 1-1. Central's 8-1. 49, South Adelaide 1 goal straight, 6. The Mr. Clip scoreboard. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, the height of Scholar may cause South Adelaide some problems. I'm looking around the ground. They don't seem to have too many tall players that could go with him, so Centrals need to get the ball in quick to the big tall man.
Okay, the mark's taken there by Mark Damazzi. No, it's actually not paid. The ball comes out to Steinburner. Steinburner gives off to Paul Thomas. It is a sensational catch. Oh! Actually, Nick, if we just have a look at that, I think that might be Nick Manhood has just given away 50 metres after an absolutely sensational mark was taken.
And it looks like one of the Gowans boys, James Gowans, has gone down. Nick Manhood and the Gowans boys had a little bit of an altercation earlier, and that specky was taken by Chris Gowans. That is the Paradise Community Church mark of the day.
It was a beautiful mark there, and obviously the form of Chris Gowans is starting to frustrate Nick Manhood, and he certainly has retaliated after that great catch. And we can see here in the goal square after Gowans has kicked the goal that there seems to be a bit of a fracas starting. There's a couple of players from each team getting in there, and no doubt, as Nick mentioned before, we can bet that both those Gowans boys are in there.
You wonder why players do that, though. In all honesty, the goal's been scored. The only thing that could possibly happen is that Centrals will get the ball again, and, you know, there'll be... and I'm not saying the Gowans boys are angels, but Nick Pesh.
Yeah, no, I think the Gowans boys are very smart, and they're very cluey, and with altercations like that, they would definitely know that one false move by one of the South Adelaide boys can result in another goal, and even though they are rough and ready, they do play with a very smart brain.
Wonderful footballers. Central District 9-1-55. South Adelaide just the 1 goal, straight 6. The action back in the centre. A little bit of fire in this game as it's taken now by Chris Hall. He's normally a left footer. That's not a bad little right footer though. Gets it down here to his co-captain in Trent Mills, who got it across to his other co-captain in Sampson. The race is on for it now, and it is Carney down there deep in the pocket, but it's going to beat him across the line and out of bounds. And fairly good crowd here this afternoon, isn't it? I mean, the Centrals team is well supported, we know that, and there's probably a few South supporters here too, but it's a healthy crowd.
Yeah, look, another quick point, Doug. You see Trent Mills and Trent Orman-Allen both playing in the forward line today. It might be time to slip one of the boys in the middle or perhaps across the half-back line, give the younger South players a bit of experience.
There was a great tap out there by Ormond-Allen, actually. A left-foot snapshot for goal by South's, one of the Murray boys, I think it was. It looked like it was Alan Murray, and he's put it through for a minor score. Interesting
to see Trent Ormond-Allen do a little bit of ruck work there. He's only 179 centimetres tall, but I think many of us will probably recall him doing some ruck work for Adelaide a couple of years back. The ball's brought in. It ends out with Hicks out on the wing. He's looking up for Healy, but the kick's a little bit too long, and it'll see it just go out of bounds. Out on the outer wing, just under one of those training lights, Doug, which you mentioned earlier.
I did. Actually, I remember that game well that Trent Ormond-Allen did the ruck work in, because it was against my team, St Kilda, and Spider Everett, of course, was the one that he's got phenomenal, you know, his vertical leap is phenomenal, as good as I've ever seen at any level of footy. And, yeah, he really worried old Spider that game.
And he was probably giving away a good 20 to 25 centimetres to big Spider Everett.
Just,
the ball's thrown in, forward. Tries to get it down, but the handball's given out by Manhood, who seems to overcome his problems that he had only 5 minutes ago. South Adelaide now go into attack, and the mark's taken out there by Murray. Murray goes inside looking for Hall. He finds him, and Mills is just giving him an option forward. Hall's gone to play on. It's a lovely smother there. And the ball ends up in the centre of the ground. Central Districts knock it forward. Ford's the first one onto it. He's got some space. He runs 3 or 4 steps, and he looks for and finds his ruck and full forward to friend there in Scholar. Scholar reaches down low and takes a terrific mark.
Well, I would say Mark Wall would have been happy with that one in the slips. I mean, the guy stands just on 200 centimetres, or 203 actually, 203 centimetres, and he's flung himself out and he's taken this finger tipper. I mean, which of those marks that we've seen in this quarter is the best one? I don't know.
Yeah, look, Paul Scholar, as he's lining up for a goal, I don't think he could get better than that, Doug. He's taken that off his ankles from about 45 metres out. Puts Central's 10th goal on the board, and Central's really running away with the game today. And South Adelaide needed to regroup at quarter time, and Greg Anderson, I'm sure, have a few quiet words to his boys and say, look, the game may be slipping away, but perhaps we can work on the second quarter and try and outscore them then.
Well, there it is at quarter time on the Mr Clip scoreboard, and the Mr Clip match of the day. Central District 10 goals won, 61, leading South Adelaide just 1-1-7, the margin 54 points. I don't think the game's over yet, but I tell you what, Centrals have been magnificent. Their goal kickers, Paul Sculler, has kicked 2 singles to Murray Hamlin, Danny Stevens, Kynan Ford, Chris Gowans, James Gowans, Daniel Healy and Marco Bello. Bear in mind it's only quarter time here in the big game. South Adelaide's goal was kicked by Jackson Crabb. So the margin 54 points in favour of the reigning premiers, Central District. We're coming to you live from the Elizabeth Oval. This is where local footy comes to life.
Oh, finding it hard to wake up in the morning? Starting Monday, wake up your brain at the Great Aussie Breakfast with Len and Dean. If you're the sharpest out of the
quarter and hopefully get away with a win and just work back into the game from there.
Ian Bone has just been down to the quarter-time huddle. Obviously the Central's camp, Boney.
The Central's camp were very quiet. listening to Clarko. Well, it was very hard to hear him over the big loudspeakers here. But look, there was a real air of confidence. Clarko just calling for them to go that step further, you know, the 1%ers, and yeah, just to really take the game on.
And comments from Len Firth, who's been down to listen to Greg Anderson at South.
Furious, gutless and lazy, the two big words. Let's win this quarter.
Gutless and lazy, they are strong words, but, well, hopefully that'll inspire the South Adelaide boys to something a little bit better this quarter. It's still 10-1, 61, South 1-1-7, and Mark Soderstrom takes over the commentary.
Okay, the ball's bounced up in the centre. Arnott, who is probably one of Central's best players at the moment, gets the ball out towards Slade. Slade on the right boot, looking for someone up at centre-half forward, but it was fantastic work by Kim Cobb, who led his opponent out, took the mark, played on nicely, and we find that Murray's going to end up with the ball up at centre on the, half-forward flank for South Adelaide. Swatala mops up for Central Districts. The ball's on the wing. Gowans picks up the ball nicely, tries to give off to Steinburner. Steinburner looks wide, but umpire Jeff Brown has found an indiscretion. He's brought the ball back, and we'll find Gowans has the ball.
James Gowans now drops the ball in short, and he finds Nathan Steinburner. He's midway between the wing and the half-forward line, and he goes there, his target down here, and he's found him too in his skipper. Is that his skipper? No, it's not. It is, in fact, Murray Hamblin who's dropped in there and taken the mark. So the boy from Ganmaid in New South Wales, best and fairest in the reserves last year, and a pretty handy footballer too is Murray Hamblin. I've seen him play several times in the seniors, and it's one of the great things about Centrals at the moment. They have such wonderful depth, and we saw that in the reserves team today. Ben Walton back from St Kilda with 40-odd games there playing in the twos. In comes Hamblin. That is a very, very good kick, and it is a goal. So he's kicked that one from just on 50 metres. It was a good kick, and Central District now move along on the Mr Clip scoreboard too. 11 goals won. They have 10 individual goal kickers, and no, that's his second goal actually. That's his second goal, Murray Hamblin's. But they move along to 11-1, 67. South Adelaide 1-1-7. Gavin with more scores.
Yes, Port Adelaide have hit the front 5-3, 33 lead Sturt 3-6, 24, 9-point margin the Magpies. And down at the Bay, Westies have bolted. They've kicked 3 quick goals, 7-1, 43. Lead Glenelg 3-3, 21, 22-point margin in favour of the Bloods.
Well, you kind of wonder, don't you, if big Adam Richardson's getting amongst those goals down there at the Glenelg. There's the bounce up in the centre of the ground. It's taken here by Derek Murray. A clash of bodies there. A couple of the South boys collided. I don't think they could see each other. It's taken away by Simon Arnott. Kicks the ball again high in the air. Free kick to Central, though, and it will be taken here by James Gowans.
Interestingly enough, that Nick Manhood ran straight through James Gowans there. Gowans now just inside the centre square. He's looking for something up forward. There's a couple of leads on, but he's still got the ball there and he's waiting for something else. He decides to go long, and I think he's kicked a torpedo there, Nick Pesh. Is that correct?
Tried to.
He certainly did try to kick a torpedo, but it didn't come off too well at all. We find the ball still on the top of the square there, fumbling around, but I think we're going to have a ball up.
Interesting to note, we mentioned earlier in the game about the discipline of Centrals, and it'll be interesting throughout the rest of the game, being 11 goals in front, to see whether the boys do keep their tackle and 1%ers and shepherding up, because they could develop a lazy habit.
There's the tap out. The tap was actually won by Schooler, but it wasn't all that effective. It went out to Mills. He kicks the ball out towards the wing, and that is a great mark taken here by the South Adelaide boy. And it is Trent Mills who's taken the mark there in opposition to
Adam Sutala.
Adam Sutala, wasn't it? Yeah. And that's another contender for the Paradise Community Church market. They're under enormous pressure.
And we actually spoke earlier about Central Districts being very good at holding the play up, and we see that Adam Swatala gave away a 25-metre penalty there, and I don't really think Alistair Clarkson would be too worried about that, because it did give the Central boys an opportunity to man up. We find ourselves on the 50-metre mark here of South Adelaide's forward line. A bit of a scrimmage is formed, and umpire Brown takes control. He says, give me the ball, I'm about to bounce it up. And we have big Kynan Ford going up in the ruck against Todd Steele, while Brennan Jackson is having a little bit of a break on the bench there.
There's the bounce up. No one really can get away from that. Oh, nice hand pass there from Chris Gowans this time. Got it across to his skipper in Daniel Healy. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, 4 bounces. Is he going to go through manhood? Yes, he is. He eludes him. That was sensational stuff. And then a beautiful pass into centre-half forward. Hamlin it was who went up for that, but he couldn't take it. Oh, this is dashing football here by Steinberner, but will be picked up by Cobb. Good, strong defensive work here by South Adelaide's Cobb. He threw the ball out. The umpy says play on. Picked up by Manhood. He's probably not the favourite player amongst the Central people as he kicks the ball down towards the wing, and it just dribbles across the boundary line. Couldn't quite find a teammate down there, and a throw in to take place.
Interesting to note, after Paul Scholar's great last 10 minutes of the first quarter, he's lining up at full forward, and we've got Colin Ford in the ruck, so obviously a move that has produced some results for Alistair Clarkson.
Okay, the ball's thrown in. We have Ford, as Nick mentioned, back in the ruck here. The ball comes down, and we think we have Clay Sampson in there trying to get the ball out, but it comes out to Murray. Murray on the right foot cleverly brings the ball back in, but can only find Hopwood. Hopwood goes inside and finds Paul Thomas. Thomas looking to centre half forward. There's a one-out competition. Great defence there by South Adelaide. Good clean punch towards Sampson. Sampson overruns it. Comes into Steinberner. Steinberner goes bang on 50. Beautiful kick. Steinberner from about 52 metres roves the ball magnificently well and slots through Central District's 12th goal.
Whoa. This is incredible stuff. It's 12 goals, 1 Central District, 73. That's the Mr. Cliff scoreboard, leading South Adelaide a miserable 1 goal, 1-7. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, great piece of work there by Murray Hamlin. 1 on 3 on the outer half-forward flank, and managed to get his hands on the ball and feed it inside to Nathan Steinberner. And they're the 1%ers that we're talking about, just to keep the ball in the forward line and give the Central District's forwards every opportunity for another score.
Okay, back in the centre here, we've got Todd Steele. I think he's starting to struggle a little bit here, and Ford is really exerting his dominance in the ruck, but Steele does then get that tap out. Down towards Murray. Murray up to centre half forward. And the fly is up. Rogers can't take the mark. It still comes down. Mills tries to break through. He's tackled by Hicks. Still no clean possession here, and the boots are thrown there by Murray trying to clean the ball out. And we'll find that it's play on called by the umpire. Derek Murray squares, has a shot at goal, but has pulled it to the left and goes through for South Adelaide second behind. They move on to 1 goal to 8, trailing Central's 12-1, 73.
And that was a little disappointing by young Murray. Had Chris Hall free in the square, and perhaps either didn't see him or thought he could kick it, but perhaps the short pass might have been the option.
Derek Murray certainly getting a lot of the ball. Here's the kick out, though, from Centrals, and the mark is taken by Heath Hopwood, arguably the best defender in the competition. Picked up now by Marco Bello as the hand pass came out him. The diminutive Bello looks down here for Stevens. Might have got the free kick, kicks the ball off the ground there, in towards centre half forward. The skills of Centrals are brilliant, but this time it comes unstuck and taken away here by South Adelaide, up towards the centre half, or the centre of the ground, actually, and Trent Mills it is who took it. It was Kruger who, in fact, got the ball out. And eventually the mark taken by Hall. Normally a beautiful kick, and this is very, very good. Alan Murray now drops the ball in short, but it looks like it's going to be big. Kynan Ford! Kynan Ford it is. Puts those big hands up and takes a mark. And he's got the Pat Cash head bandage on. The ball comes down here to Mark Damazzi. He couldn't get it, though, taken by Hicks. Hicks down towards the wing position. It's all Central District. Nathan Steinberner, look at him. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. I can't keep up with him, I tell you what. He's gone in towards centre half. But up goes Johnson, and that is a beauty. Or was that Manhood? No, it's not. It's actually
Kim Cobb.
It's actually Kim Cobb. Worked through the entire South back line then, I think, and Kim Cobb, another contender for the Paradise Community Church mark of the day, and South bring it in towards centre half forward. Alan Murray missed what he might have taken. Great skills, except he's hand passed it straight there to Damien Hicks. He in turn hand passed it straight to Big Peter Johnson. A hand pass now from Chris Hall. It went out there to the player in Steele. Another hand pass from Alan Murray, ill-directed, and it'll be taken away here by Hereda. Comes out now towards the half back line. Michael Stevens, another hand pass this time, across to Arnott. I'm almost out of breath. Mark, help me out, please, as Arnott goes
Arnott
forward.
looks up forward and decides to pull the ball across to Scholar, and he's found him truly. Fantastic lead from Paul Scholar, who is able to shake his opponent, get 2 or 3 metres, and the pass was found truly, and Scholar will line up once again about 45, about 40 metres out on a 45-degree angle. He is a terrific kick, this young fellow, and as he comes in, he's sprayed it on the right. That's what happens. You give a guy a wrap, But amazingly, he sprayed it on the right and has been able to find a Central Districts player just next to the goal square there. And he's lining up. It might be Murray Hanlon. Yep. Murray Hanlon's probably, he's gone actually to play on. About 15 metres out on angles, pulled the ball across the goals. And Scholar can't mark, and we'll find that the ball is loosely knocked around to Gowans. Gowans snaps absolutely magnificently on the left foot, and he's put it through. Kick truly. James Gowans slots through his second goal for the afternoon, and Central's 13th goal. So they move on to 13-1-81.
13-1-81, which of course is how good's your maths, Mark? Now you're a school teacher, or have been a school teacher, but not exactly in maths.
Certainly not. I was just a PE teacher there, Doug, and you're going to tell me that it's not actually 81.
It'll be 13 sixes or 7 at 79.
79 close, 2 points off.
South Adelaide just 1 goal to 8. Comments from the injured Eagle, Nick Pesh.
Yeah, Damien Hicks just coming off for a well-earned rest, and Adam Satala moving onto that half-back line to pick up Damien Connon, who's just come back onto the ground.
It's the Mr. Clip match of the day. It's been all Central so far. South will bring their own footy next time. There's the bounce up in the centre. It was Steele who got the tap out, but a hand pass from Steinburner, and Healy drives the ball forward. We have a couple of the water people running, a couple of the trainers running for protection. Look at them go, will you? I think they're having a race toward the boundary line, and in that little passage of play, it's all bottled up on the half-forward line for Centrals, and a bounce up to take place.
Yeah, it looks like Brennan Jackson just warming up, making his way back onto the ground, and who would have thought start first 10 minutes of the second quarter, both Brogan and Jackson on the bench, which obviously nullifies a lot of Greg Anderson's options.
There's the bounce up there across the half-forward line for Centrals. They've got control of it again. Little Matthew Slade it is who got it across to Danny Stevens. Another hand pass came out there to Daniel Healy. You know that way he holds the ball out and just eludes his opponent. He's done it again. Oh, Bodie's in the background yelling out 40. I tell you what, he gets the hand pass out too. And it will be play on, and there's a snapshot here by Chris Gowans, and it's gone through for a... That is one of the best points you will ever see kicked. He's put it through for a minor score. 2 Centrals. The umpy paid the advantage. Bring it back, says Boney. He's not happy unless it's a goal. And it's 13-2 to Centrals. 13-2-80. South Adelaide just 1 goal to 8. We've played 12 minutes of the second quarter as South go forward, this time through Chris Hall.
Chris Hall looking to kick the ball up towards centre half forward. He's got Tim Rogers on a lead with Brian Hereda hot onto him, but Rogers is good enough to hold onto the ball. Looks out wide for Clay Sampson. He's got some space. He's probably got 10 metres there to play with in front of Steinburner, and Sampson comes back in on the right, looking for and finding his
Jackson Crabb.
Yep, Jackson Crabb, who actually is South's only goal scorer to this point. Jackson Crabb's taken the mark. He's probably just deep into the forward pocket, around about 20 metres out on a very, very tough angle, and it'll take a great kick here, Nick, to score the 4 points. In fact, he's actually played on. He's gone around to improve his angle onto the right boot. Hasn't quite made the distance. And the ever-reliable defender in Geister takes the mark right on the last line of defence and probably looks to cut the ball out onto the far side, finds Stevens. Stevens again has some runners and has some space, and finds a Centrals player out there, who then in turn goes to Steinburner. Steinburner's quick to play on, looking for Healy. It's over his head. It's a race in two, but Healy then is good enough to pick it up and give the ball out. Central Districts come streaming down the outer wing. The kick's too long for the contest, and we'll find Manhood will be first to the ball. Dives onto it just in on the half-forward flank there for South Adelaide, and umpire Craig Dodgery just decided to ball up.
Central Districts, yeah, very good to pounce on the turnover, and perhaps Jackson Crabb would have been better off just to settle himself down and go back and take a shot rather than playing on, having a quick snap on his right foot.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, and yeah, he's a very, very good kick of the ball too, and you sort of wonder why he opted that way. Perhaps he felt he was a better kick on the run. South Adelaide boy with the kick over his shoulder, not terribly effective though, and a free kick played here to, what comes out anyway, to Danny Stevens from 55 metres. That is a beautiful kick for goal, and he's put it through. His second goal for the afternoon, and it takes Central District along to 14 goals to 86, leading South Adelaide 1 goal to 8. Pretty to watch, I heard someone say up here. And Gavin Richard, you're going home, Lenny. Okay. They don't sell the pies cheap yet. I tell you what, Lenny. But Gavin's got more scores for us.
Yes, thank you, Doug. West Adelaide 8-3-51 lead Glenelg 4-4-28. Port Adelaide 6-3-39 lead Sturt 3-7-25. And Norwood, 6 straight goals, 36, lead North Adelaide 3-6-24.
Well, the action back here in the Mr. Clip match of the day at the Elizabeth Oval. The Seagulls are out here. They're having a feast, but Centrals, they are enjoying their feast. Mark Soderstrom.
Big Brennan B.J. Jackson has replaced Todd Steele in the ruck, but Scholar's still good enough to get the tap down. It comes down towards Sampson. Sampson tries to go a little bit too cute out and finds Steinburner. Steinburner's overrun the ball, and South Adelaide are able to bring the ball up towards centre-half forward. Harada, very, very good on Tim Rogers, brings the ball to the front. Once again, like we've seen all day so far, Central able to run the ball from defence through Healy. Back to Gowans, back to Healy. Healy in the centre of the ground. Looks for and is about to find Murray Hamlin. Murray Hamlin turns in, plays on the right foot. Right boot goes long. Oh, Ford put the one hand out. He's juggled. Lenny's called a mark, but they won't pay it. Ends out with Gowans. The ball smothered by Kim Cobb, and we'll find that it is rushed out of bounds.
So a throw-in to take place. It's deep in the forward pocket. Central District in attack at the moment, 86-8. And we've played just 15 minutes of the second quarter. Oh, goodness me, this is just incredible what we're seeing here this afternoon by Centrals. South Adelaide, on the other hand, would be very, very disappointed. They've got some good players, certainly. Oh, there was a throw, I think, there by Gowans C. And he's been penalised for that one. He scooped it up with the one hand, and it will be paid here to Trent Ormond-Allen. The man with the hyphen there on the half-back line for South Adelaide. The former Melbourne Demon and Crow goes out towards his teammate on the outer side of the ground. Let's see if he can pick it up. A kick off the ground here by South, but it will be picked up here by Steinburner, I think. It's way out there on the outer side, but South Adelaide actually do very, very well. A kick across here to Chris Hall, probably South Adelaide's best player, I reckon, at this stage. Chris Hall now, beautiful kick in towards centre-half forward, just a little bit too high for Tim Rogers. It comes off hands. It's on the ground. It will be picked up here by Swatala. He loses it too. Big Geister's in there. He goes for the safety of the boundary line, and Heath Hopwood is out there as well on the outer side and right near a couple of trainers in there. Whites, it's gone out, and it will be a throw-in.
Yeah, it might be time for South Adelaide perhaps to go man on man all over the ground. The freedom that they're allowing the central midfielders is really cutting them up across the ground.
Okay, the ball comes out from the throw into Swatala. Swatala bangs it onto the right foot, but is only able to find Lee Kruger on the wing, the boy from Victor Harbour, I believe he's from. And then in turn finds Clonan, probably about 55 metres out, certainly way too far out for him to score. And he decides to go towards Kearney, who's now come back on after the blood rule with a big bandage on his head. Kearney couldn't take the mark, but the ball's brought to the front, and we'll find another ball up there.
14 goals to 86 on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. You heard right. Central District 14-2. South Adelaide just 1-8. And we're only 17 minutes into the second quarter. Oh, Trent Ormond-Allen, spectacular leap on that occasion, but it's taken away by Tyson Hay. Hasn't had a lot of work today, hasn't need to. There's a snapshot for goal here by Kearney. It's right off target, though, and the boy from Gippsland Power has put that one out of bounds on the full. At least I'll mark it down as an out on the full anyway to give him a little bit of credit there. And it's taken here by the Central District players. Marco Bello with the ball now, goes short, finds Mark Stevens. Mark Stevens will go in short, drops the ball across here now towards the centre wing position. It is taken by Paul Thomas. Thomas in towards centre half forward, pushing the back. Thought the umpy was going to play that one. He may have played the advantage, I don't know. There's a hand pass from Hamlin, comes across here to Chris Gowans, and it is his third goal. Let's see, second goal for the afternoon. And Central District 15 goals 2. That's right, 15 goals 2, leading South Adelaide 1-2. The Mr. Clip match of the day. Quick comment from Nick Pesh, then more AFL scores.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, Doug, and just the way that after an out in the full, how Central District's players can manage to be 25, 30 metres clear of their opponents, and South Adelaide really need to tighten up, especially on the turnovers. OK, let's get some AFL scores from Gavin Richardson.
Bulldogs 11 goals 5, 71, lead Geelong 11-2, 68, 3-point margin, and Kangaroos 12-9, 81, lead Melbourne 11-6, 72, a 9-point margin.
19 minutes gone in the quarter. Now, I did say to Boney that he could have a 30-second burst at this, and since Centrals are dominating so much, Boney, she's all yours.
All right, we got the kick out from Sutala down towards the half-forward line. Healy picks it up on the bounce, gives it over to Steinburner. Dummies around, back to Healy. Healy will swing onto his left boot now. Goes over the half-forward line, looking for the tall timber. Ford comes out, Gowans in front, down to Murray Hamlin. Dummies, ducks. Oh, too high. Too high, calls the ump. Murray Hamlin ducks, gets a free kick, but Centrals are happy to accept that. And Murray, who can kick from easily outside 50, is now having a shot from about 45 out on close to a 45-degree angle.
In case you're wondering about this man, he's not the president of Central District Football Club, Ian Bone, but...
he's got it. Mark it down to Murray. Straight through the middle. Well done, Murray Hamlin. Central's rattling this game. They have now got 16 goals to 98. They're actually taking apart South Adelaide, 1 goals to 8 points.
Boney, you've done it. You've done it.
You're giving me 30 seconds, Doug.
I've given you 30 seconds and you haven't mentioned one South Adelaide boy.
they got to touch the ball. They've got to touch the ball, Dougie.
That's a fair comment. Ian Bone here, and you'll get another burst later on, Boney. When South... I've turned off your mic, but when South make their comeback. OK, Nick Pesh, some comments.
Yeah, just a quick call. Conan Ford just coming off to give young Richard Cochran a run in his 6th game. Alistair Clarkson just throwing around the mix up in his forward line.
Yeah, son of Richard also played some fine footy on the wing there for Central District in years gone by. Danny Stevens driving Central District forward. It comes in towards the half-forward line. It's Chris Gowans out there with Nick Manhood. They've had some interesting battles today. There's another hand pass that comes out from Rick McGowan, who's hardly been on the ground. That's Bello on that familiar left foot of his. The umpy waving his arms up as though he's signalling a 6 in the cricket. Well, he could probably do that today because Centrals have got a few 6s here today. 16-2 at the moment, South 1-2. There's a hand pass that came out there to Arnott. Arnott with another hand pass across to Danny Stevens, the brother of Nick, kicks in towards centre half forward, knocked away by Kim Cobb. He tries to trap the ball. A hand pass, a clever one too. Came out there to Chris Hall. Hall in turn gets it across there to his teammate racing through. Is that Trent Mills? Down towards the wing he goes. The race is on for it. This is Alan Murray who'll kick the ball off the ground. Does it quite effectively too. It's on the 50-metre line now for South Adelaide, and I think it's going to beat players across the line. No, it won't. Picked up there by... Is that Harada? Yes, it is Harada. The ball comes in short. Danny Stevens with it. The hand pass to Big Scholar. Away you go. Mark Soderstrom.
Scholar looks in turn for Nathan Steinberner, but the kick is a little bit too big, and we'll find that Tim Rogers defends nicely there and tries to hold the ball in. Comes out towards Cobbs in there as well, but it comes back to Steinberner. Steinberner goes with a banana kick, which is probably not the best decision that he's made all day, going for a banana kick in there, and the mark has been taken in defence there by the boy from Victor Harbour, Lee Kruger. Off to Manhood. Manhood then finds the safety of Damien Rigney, who takes a good contested mark onto his chest there. He's about on the half-back flank on the grandstand side, looking for Peter Johnson up here on the wing. Johnson decides not to go for it, and Simon Arnott, who, as we mentioned, and we've called him a lot today, Bicky's Arnott, takes another strong mark, and he certainly is a contender at the moment to be the best man on the ground. He in turn goes towards the centre. It's a short kick, but it finds the safety of Stevens. Stevens under a little bit of duress there, works back off the mark into the centre there, and finds the safety of his teammate. Bello runs on, one of the Clio top 50 bachelors, into the forward line, but it's chopped off nicely by Mills. Mills goes out wide towards Hall. Hall goes to break onto that characteristic left foot. He has one bounce. He has two bounces. He has an absolute paddock. Swatala's putting some pressure on, but Hall on the left goes a little bit too low. Jake Kearney out there with a headband on to stop that flow of blood that he had from a little bit early. Can't quite pick up the ball. Some more pressure is by the Central's defence, and we'll find that once again they're going to quite comfortably run the ball out. The kick was probably not terrifically played well. Alan Murray has picked the ball up, gone on the right foot, snapped absolutely truly from about 25 metres out, and puts through South Adelaide's second goal. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, the South boys, great little bit of work there by Murray, but always battling hard to get their goals, South Adelaide. I think they're falling down across that half-forward line, perhaps lacking a key tall option, someone to bomb the ball too long who can bring the ball down the front and somewhere for the little South Adelaide boys just to stay around their feet.
Now for all the Panther supporters, big Lenny Firth, what was that comment again?
Doug, South aren't out of this.
Thank you, Lenny. Right, it's Central District 16-2, that's 98, South Adelaide 2-2-14, and we've played 24 minutes of the second quarter here at the Elizabeth Oval. Marco Bello, what a magnificent little rover he is, in towards centre half forward he goes. It's a good kick, this one. No, it's going to be a free kick, or is it a mark here to South Adelaide? Across the 50-metre defensive line, that is, and it's being taken here by Cobb. Cobb with a long hand pass. Cobb and Johnson, I tell you what, they look fairly similar. Goes out now towards the half-back line, and the skillful Damien Rigney, been pretty quiet today so far, but he's taken the mark out there in the shadow of those trees on the grandstand side here at the Elizabeth Oval. Down towards the wing, Peter Johnson went high, but it's big Arnott or Sculler from behind who thumped the ball away. A hand pass there from McGowan, got it across to Bellow. Bellow gets it out there to Simon Arnott. He's about 50, 60 metres out. He's gone towards goal. It is a beauty, and has it been touched on the line?
It's a goal.
I think it's a goal. Magnificent goal, Simon Arnott. And Central District have kicked their, is that their 17th or their 16th? We'll just wait for the boys on the 17 goals to leading South Adelaide 2 goals to. About 25 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Local scores from Gavin Richardson.
West Adelaide 8 goals 4-51, lead Glenelg 5-5-35. It's a 17-point margin. Port 7-3-39, lead Sturt 3-7-25. And North Adelaide 3-6 is stuck on 3-6-24. Norwood to kick 9 straight goals. They are 10-1-61.
Well, the action is certainly fast and furious in some of those matches. It is here too. And this time South Adelaide come out of defence through Peter Johnson. He kicks out towards the wing position. And Clay Sampson, the former Crow, the former Melbourne Demon. And he had a year at Richmond too, didn't he, Clay Sampson?
Yeah, he certainly did. He's well-travelled, isn't he?
He is. And of course, starting with South Adelaide, he's back there captaining the team now, and a real passion for the club. He'd be so disappointed with today. And he's had a disappointing game too, let's be honest. He's been in great form. There's the throw in. It came out here to South Adelaide. They're going forward again. On his left foot this time is the player there, and we'll pick him up in a moment. Down in towards centre half forward it went. It was a good kick, that one too. A hand pass came out there from Johnson this time. Here's the ball coming back now in the hands of Mills. Mills will go for a hand pass across to his teammate in towards centre half forward, and South Adelaide and a chance to score. They're about 50 metres out from goal, probably just a little bit too far to score, as the player there in Jackson Crabb is who's taken that mark. He in turn drops the ball in short, and Trent Mills has taken the mark.
I think, Doug, that every time South Adelaide have seen to have a shot, they seem to be from well outside 50, and it's the smaller players having the shots from that distance. And Trent Mills here will have to kick from 50, and I dare say, I think he may struggle for the distance. There's not a breath of wind around, but I think this will really be extending him to get the journey from 50. So Mills comes in on the right. The kick probably doesn't have enough length. It just falls short in the square. And once again, Scholar, who is probably the dominant big man on the ground, along with Kine and Ford, are absolutely taking South Adelaide apart. And he's taken a good mark there on the last line of defence.
Scholar now to bring the Central District team out towards the half-back line, and he in turn finds a teammate out there. There's a hand pass that came across to, it was Rick McGowan. They rotate their players so much, you're trying to think, oh, McGowan somewhere around about the centre, but here he is down the back pocket. But Chris Hall has come in and taken another mark for South Adelaide, and he, I think, is clearly South's best player. Goes in towards centre half forward, and he finds his teammate there in Tim Rogers.
Just a quick point to note, Doug. Peter Johnson looks like he's made his way up to centre half forward, and Todd Still's come off the bench into that centre half back zone. So hopefully Peter Johnson can create a bit more of an option for the South boys across half forward.
And with apologies there to the Cobb family, because that was actually Kim Cobb. He in turn got it on there to Jackson Crabb. His kick was a short one in the direction of Derek Murray. He was appealing for the free kick there. He thought it might have been a deliberate out of bounds. As one of our team here stands up and applauds the team that he supported ever since he was born, I think, in Ian Bone. But it has been magnificent by Central District. 17 goals 2 at half-time. That's 104. This is only half-time. South Adelaide 2 goals to 14. Let's quickly run through the goal kickers at half-time for Central District. They've got a lot of them. Murray Hamblin has 3. Danny Stevens, James Gowans and Paul Schooler all have 2. Along with Chris Gowans, he has 2. And singles to Kynan Ford, Nathan Steinberner, Simon Arnott, Daniel Healy and Marco Bello. South Adelaide's 2 goals at half-time have come from Jackson Crabb and Alan Murray. So it is the Mr. Clip match of the day. And this is the mini-league that's just running out onto the ground now. We have Central District being represented by Tanunda, presumably
bad and it only warrants 25, you pay 50. It's a harsh penalty from the wing. It's a shot on goal, and it's a very harsh, and umpires are reluctant to pay 50s, as you would have seen last night, as we did, where if you have the 25, the player that has infringed still is penalised, but at the end of the day, it's not a harsh penalty.
Shane, as always, thanks for being so open to the media. Great to have a chat. And,
no worries, Doug. Anytime for umpiring.
Fantastic.
No worries. Take care.
Shane Harris, who is the Director of Umpiring over here in South Australia, and of course has umpired at the top level too, in the AFL or the VFL. And it's always good to have a chat with Shane and just get the umpies' viewpoint here at our footy matches. Big Lenny's just joined me here. Lenny.
Look, the Salvation Army are up to get that 50 cents off you, Doug. They're doing the rounds of Elizabeth Oval. I tell you what, they've collected a fair old haul too. They've got a blanket, and I guess that's the big message for the Salvation Army, the folks. They're collecting money so they can keep people warm this winter. So they'll be up in a tick to get you 50 cents.
90 points the margin, and it is going to be Mark Soderstrom in his debut in radio commentary this afternoon. An injured Sturt player, of course, formerly with North and also Glenelg. Mark, she's all yours.
Okay, Greg Anderson has really swung the changes here at half-time. He's put Peter Johnson into the ruck because South were really struggling with Brennan Jackson and Todd Steele in the ruck. So Johnson's in there, and he's got the ball now. He gives out to Orman Allen. Orman Allen goes high with a bit of a 9-iron up towards centre-half forward to no one in particular. Hicks with a trusty fist down to Steinburner. Steinburner on the left, out on the outer wing, but the ball is intercepted nicely by Tim Rogers, who has had a particularly quiet first half.
Rogers now goes with the hand pass, got it across there to Jackson Crabb. In towards centre-half forward he goes. Hay was knocked off the ball. The umpies paid the advantage. Marco Bello this time goes short, and he has found his captain there in Daniel Healy. Little St Kilda link there. I discovered through the week that Marco had a couple of games with St Kilda reserves during his career with Box Hill. Healy across to Schooler, back to Bello. Bello racking up the possessions, goes down towards half forward. It's picked up here by the player there for Central's number 9 in Richard Cochran. We were talking with his dad just a while ago, and he's found his teammate down there in Kynan Ford. The big centre-half forward ruckman in towards centre-half forward. A chance now for Centrals. Can they goal again? They can. And Michael Stevens gets the procession going in this second half, and he becomes the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th goal kicker for Centrals. Comments from Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just some quick updates on statistics at half-time. We had James Gowans with 13 possessions, 2 goals. Had Chris Gowans with 16 possessions, 3 goals. Arnott, 16 possessions, 1 goal. Danny Stevens and Healy, also 16 possessions and 2 and 1 goals respectively. So the Central Districts boys are definitely sharing the ball around, and great opening for Central Districts.
And I reckon you might have got those stats from the advertiser people. So our thanks to them. You'll see all them, of course, in the Sunday Mail tomorrow. So thanks, fellas, for that. We really appreciate that. They do a great job and provide us with that service here today. Manhood in the centre of the ground showing his strength there, but it's all Centrals again. Let's see what they can get out of this one. Play on calls the umpy. Tim Rogers there, a long hand pass across to Jackson Crabb. Clever football by Crabb. It bounces. It was a terrible bounce, that one. It was like trying to bat on a sticky wicket, but it was picked up there by Derek Murray. Goes in towards centre-half forward. South Adelaide showing a fair bit of spirit in the opening few minutes of this quarter. The kick in towards centre-half forward. Carney was the leaper. Couldn't take it, though. Picked up here, though, by one of the Gowans boys out there, I think. But the umpy is letting play go. I think it's going to be ball, and it will be play on. He's let it go. A hand pass from Geister this time. He in turn got it across to Steinburner. In turn across to Chris Gowans. Chris Gowans onto Marco Bello. Marco Bello, the little left footer. He got the hand pass across there to Steinburner once again, and we find it's going to be Chris Gowans going forward.
Chris Gowans looks for the lead and finds Heath Hopwood, but Heath Hopwood can't actually hold on to it. So there's another change. Hopwood down to the forward line, and the ball will be wrapped up and taken over by Craig Doddridge for a bounce at centre-half forward for Central Districts. Nick Pesh.
The Central Districts midfield rotations working overtime. We've got James Gowans and Simon Arnott both starting on the bench along with Brian Harada.
Okay, Skollick gets the palm down beautifully, but the Central Districts players wrapped up there nicely. McGowan, who spent a lot of time on the bench in the first half, flicks the ball out beautifully to Stevens. Stevens measures a kick and slots it straight through the centre. Michael Stevens is able to kick his second goal for the day as we watch Central Districts move on to 18 goals, 2, and South are languishing back at 2 goals, 2.
And not quite up with Ian Bones' prediction of 49 goals today. He predicts Central Districts to kick, so they need to get a bit of a wriggle on, but great opening to the third quarter by Michael Stevens and 2 quick goals.
That was actually kicked against them, of course, the 49 goals, and from memory, Fred Phillips kicked about 18 of them, I think it was, something like that. Anyway, Central District 19-2 on the Mr. Clip scoreboard, 116 leading South Adelaide 2-2-14, and Central's again go forward, this time through Danny Stevens. He goes for the screw punt towards centre half forward. The race is on for it. Here he is, the little live wire. He's played for the Power this year in Michael Stevens, Anthony's brother, of course, but his kick was ineffective that time, and South Adelaide bring it out from defence down towards the half-back line, and that player there was Kruger. He's been reasonably impressive. Kruger hasn't had a lot of touches, but he certainly hasn't been South's worst player today, and what's been a horribly disappointing performance for all Panther supporters, and I think for the league too, with due respect to Central. They lead at the moment by 102 points. We've played 5 minutes in the third quarter.
And once again, Anderson swung some changes in the ruck, and we find Todd still back in there. But interestingly enough, Ormond Allen seems to be the second jumper for South in most of the ruck contests this quarter. The ball comes out to the wing with Adam Swatala on the right boot. Squares up towards centre half forward. Clay Sampson's pushed under the ball by McGowan, but Chris Hall comes up with on the left foot. Chris Hall, possibly South Adelaide's best player in the first half. Murray's wrapped up. The pressure from Central Districts is ferocious, but Nick Manwood finds Rogers. Rogers quick on to Mark Damazi, the Deputy Vice Captain, and he's able to find... Who has he got out there?
Crab,
He's found Jackson Crab, who early on did start to exert some influence for South Adelaide in the centre of the ground. Crab finds himself about 45 metres out, 45-degree angle, and I think at this stage he should probably make the distance here. It's whether the accuracy can be found.
A good start to the quarter by Tim Rogers, presenting himself across that half-forward line, a position that's really hampered South Adelaide all day, and hopefully he can have a big impact on the game for the last half.
In comes Jackson Crab now. As Mark said, 45 metres out. That is a beautiful kick, that one by Jackson Crab. It's his second goal for the afternoon. Could this be some sort of a comeback by South? It will be the greatest of all time if it happens. South move along to 3 goals to 20. But Central District 19 goals to 116 on the Mr. Clip scoreboard as Gavin gives us an update from around the grounds.
Yes, AFL update is 8 points of difference at both games. Melbourne 16-9, 105, lead Kangaroos 14-13, 97, and Bulldogs 17-5, 107, lead Geelong 16-3, 99.
Yes, we're keeping an eye out here this afternoon at the Elizabeth Oval for the best brick and pavers team effort of the day, and that hand pass from Rick McGowan there, down there, which resulted in that one of those goals to Michael Stevens, I thought was absolutely magnificent. We've also got Marco Bello's tackle in the first quarter as a contender there. We're also looking out for the Paradise Community Church mark of the day here on the Mr. Clip match of the round as Centrals go forward once again.
Cochrane cleverly gets it onto his right boot, but doesn't find any joy, and Kim Cobb takes a strong mark, has a bounce, comes out on his left side and looking for Damazi. Damazi brings the ball to the front, but it's sharked beautifully there by Central Districts, and Trent Ormond-Allen seems to take another mark, the Ginger Ninja. Trent Ormond-Allen, he goes in short and looks for Lee Kruger. Lee Kruger inside to Cobb. Cobb has a bounce, looks inside again for Peter Johnson. The handball's not too good. It's in front of him. Jackson Crab mops up beautifully and goes out to the far side and finds Damien Rigney. Rigney in short, terrible kick. Hicks is able to mop up, and Hicks has been a dour defender for Central Districts today, but he overruns the ball on this occasion. Jackson Crab finds himself running in, balks beautifully, dances around Thomas onto the right foot, pulled it across slightly and runs through for one behind.
And just quickly, just in front of us, we've got Matty Slade running off the ground. He looks like he's got a little bit of trouble with his knee, perhaps, or maybe even a slight hamstring, so not good news for Matty Slade, but James Gowans runs out onto the ground again.
Pretty handy replacement here, isn't he, James Gowans, to come on at this time of the day, as there's the kick out now towards the half-back line, and a mark taken here by Central Districts in Thomas. I reckon is that Thomas?
Danny Stevens.
It is Danny Stevens. Yeah, I thought by the balk it may have been Stevens. It's a shocking kick. It's a real grubber this time. Big Kynan Ford tries to trap it. It's taken though here by Ormond Allen. He got it across to Steele and turn on to Tim Rogers. Tim Rogers is playing good footy and goes toward goal. This might even bounce through. It could be a goal to South. It's not. It's been rushed through for yet another minor score to the Panthers. 3 goals for 22. They are miles behind Centrals at the moment, 19 to 116. And this is the Mr. Clip match of the day from the Elizabeth Oval. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, it just looks like that South Adelaide are going man-on-man with these kick-outs. Obviously, the zone that they started with broke down fairly early, so good opportunity here for the South forwards.
Okay, Central Districts bring the ball up towards the outer wing, looking for Gowans. Great work by Lee Kruger, was able to dispossess Gowans there, but we find the ball is pushed out towards the boundary line, towards Big Paul Scholar, who has had a fantastic day to date. He can't get the ball, and South Adelaide wrap it up nicely. And in fact, the umpire, probably a little harsh there, has awarded a free kick for the tackle with Stevens. And we find Stevens about 55 metres out, certainly way too far for him to score. He's gone in short, looking for and finding Heath Hopwood. So we can also see that Alistair Clarkson's made a couple of changes. He's moved Heath Hopwood up to the forward line, and he's going to have a shot at goal now, Doug.
Heath Hopwood has a good pair of hands and did play full forward in the reserves when he first came down from Narrandera up there on the Riverina in New South Wales, so it's not a position he's a stranger to. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, well, Heath, as he's lining up here, he's only kicked 12 goals in 85 games, so he'll be pretty happy if he puts this one through.
In comes Heath Hopwood now, and the crowd are clapping, they are cheering, and Heath Hopwood scores a goal. I reckon he'll be playing on the half-back flank, though, in the state team. There's not much doubt about that. He's one of our mates because he did our special comments last week, did Heath, and did a great job too. Central District now moving on to 20 goals 2. That's 122 over South Adelaide. 3 goals 4, which of course is 22. In fact, Big Lenny sitting here beside me. South Adelaide 3 goals 4. What's that again, Lenny? 3 goals 4, 22.
22. That's 22, Douglas.
Thank you, Lenny. Yes, and of course Central's at 22.
Yes, 22.
No. Thank you, Lenny. We just had to get that from the boy. And the action back in the centre, Mark Soderstrom.
Clay Sampson onto his right boot, goes bang into the forward line. Jake Kearney under the ball, but can't take the mark. Once again, Central Districts have moved the ball out beautifully from defence. Daniel Healy, the captain on the wing, goes in board. We see Stevens looking up forward. And Big Kynan Ford can't take the mark, but it's sharked by Stevens. And Kim Cobb's in there as well. And the ball has just been flipped out. And we'll find on the left boot, one of the Gowans boys has kicked. Absolutely, truly, again, for Central District's 21st goal. And it really is a procession here. It's just about a long way for South Adelaide to come anywhere near back now. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just a point to note. Greg Anderson coaching from the bench. He's down there. He's having a quiet word to his players that come on and off the ground, and probably a good move by Greg Anderson as we see Brennan Jackson coming back on the ground and Simon Arnott for Centrals. Danny Stevens having a rest and Todd Steele going down now with Greg Anderson and having a few words.
It was actually the captain, Daniel Healy, who slotted that ball through nicely on his left foot.
Well, they're so proficient with right and left foot, the Gowans brothers, and Daniel Healy, of course, on the left foot. It's easy to make that mistake, I'll tell you what, Mark. Action back in the centre. BJ, Brennan Jackson doing battle there with skill with a hand pass, though, from Healy. Got it across to McGowan. The procession has started again. Murray Handlin goes with... That is a very hopeful hand pass, that one. It went into no man's land. It's little Derek Murray there getting the hand pass out in the direction of Jackson Crabb. But Steinberger's out there. So's Ford, Big Kynan Ford, that is. Picked up, though, by the South Adelaide boy here. On that left foot of his, it's Peter Johnson. Goes down towards the wing. It's ill-directed, though. And Daniel Healy, one of the best players on the ground this afternoon. He's forced into a quick hand pass. Got it across there to his teammate in Steinberger. It comes back here to... it is Hicks this time. Hicks up towards centre-half forward. But marking across half-back is Peter Johnson for South Adelaide.
The athletic Johnson looks out to go on his right foot, but then decides against it and uses the left boot to pluck a player out there on the half-back flank, and South Adelaide maintain possession for the moment. Once again, Central Districts are exerting a lot of pressure on them, and we see that with Arnott. Arnott interferes with the ball there, knocks it down towards Hicks. Hicks can't get it out, and we find Alan Murray with the ball out in the half-back flank, and he just tries to hold up proceedings. Goes short to the South Adelaide player, who appears to be playing a little bit of tunnel ball on the outer there, and South Adelaide just can't seem to get ball on the boot and get things moving. Ball comes forward, Swatala's up. Hall's there for South, Murray's there for South. But then again, Central District streamed through the centre of the ground, and the kick was chopped off beautifully by Tim Rogers. It looked like it was about to hit Heath Hopwood on the chest, but Rogers courageously went back and took the mark. South Adelaide manhood holds on, breaks the tackle, goes to give the ball, decides against it, then he has to give under pressure. Mark Damazi's fighting 2-on-1. Gowans comes out, turns around, looks to the centre of the ground and finds the Cleo Bachelor, Marco Bello from Box Hill. Bello turns Brennan Jackson inside out, goes to centre half forward and finds Simon Arnott, Vicky's Arnott.
Vicky's Arnott, that's the boy, Simon Arnott. Big story on him in the budget today too. Sidled out of the boy from Sydney Swans and Geelong. He in turn goes short and finds Heath Hopwood. It is a procession, and Centrals will add to their 21st goal. One would think 21 goals 2 at the moment. Can you believe that? 21-2. South Adelaide just 3 goals for Nick Pesh.
Yeah, I think Heath Hopwood's in for a good afternoon here. I don't think anyone from South Adelaide's got within 15 metres of him in the last 15 minutes. And great opportunity here, as you see. We have Daniel Healy coming off the ground as Heath Hopwood lines up and puts it straight. Oh, no, he's missed it just to the right-hand side for a point. So the true backman coming out from Heath Hopwood.
Central Districts 21 goals 3, 123 lead South Adelaide by an absolute mile. 3 goals 4, 22.
Daniel Stevens now, Danny Stevens, he gets it across to Heath Hopwood again. It's very close to goal. There's James Gowans. Oh, there's a Central player who goes down. Umpy missed that one, but it's a goal to Centrals, and Marco Bello this time. And the crowd is bellowing too. That is magnificent football. The little rover, the left footer, has put it through for a goal. Marco Bello's second goal. Let's get a quick comment from Ian Bone, who normally stands in the outer. Boney.
Doug, a very underrated rover in many people's opinions. What do you think?
Oh, Marco Bello, I think, will probably be the first rover for the state team this year.
I think so too. Well done, Doug.
Yep, fair comment, Ian Bone. And so we take more scores from Gavin Richardson.
Yeah, just a quick one. Westies by 25 points over Glenelg. Norwood by 56 over North. And Sturdiff hit the front, 2 points over Port. And across the border, Bulldogs by 10 points over Geelong. And Melbourne just in front of the Kangaroos by 4 points.
Back here at Elizabeth Oval, Central Districts go into attack again, and we've called that a lot today, haven't we? Central Districts going to attack. Bello is grabbed without the ball, and he's going to receive a free kick here. Umpire Jeff Brown adjudicating that the ball was absolutely nowhere near Marco's possession. Bello goes in short to the top of the square. He's looking for Heath Hopwood, but Trent Ormond-Allen comes across nicely and intercepts, taking a good mark. Ormond-Allen out on the right, looking towards the outer wing for Jackson Crabb. Crabb is able to trap the ball nicely and gives off to Murray. Murray looking long for a teammate there, but is unable to pick anyone out in particular, and Murray Hamblin is content to see the ball out of bounds.
As South make the changes, it's Damien Cloden coming on, replacing Aaron Landorf. Nick Pesh, I think you may have had a comment there.
Yeah, Trent Mills working very hard for South Adelaide across that half-forward line and presenting himself at every opportunity. I'm sure Greg Anderson would like him to grow 2 or 3 inches because he's giving his all for the South boys today.
There's the throw-in from the boundary line there. There's a scrimmage developing here. The umpy watching things very closely. 1 or 2 players try to get the ball out of there. Picked up by Derek Murray. He's on his hands and knees, and he tried to do that. Still got his foot to it, though. I'm not sure what you're trying to imagine at the moment with the boy on his hands and knees kicking it, but anyway, the action, nothing really terribly brilliant is happening as Bello, a one-hander is taken here, a one-hander is taken here. It is taken by Chris Gowans, who in turn gets the ball onto Bello. That was a brilliant mark by Gowans, a contender for the Paradise Community Church mark of the day. Bello now, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, gets it across here to Schuller. Will he look for the teammate, or will he kick the goal? He's put it through. It's actually Kynan Ford. It's Kynan Ford who's kicked his second goal this afternoon. And that's the 22nd goal to Centrals on the Vista Cliff scoreboard. 23-3, leading South Adelaide 3-4.
Obviously, Daniel Healy's well rested. He's been on the bench for about 2 minutes and comes running back on the ground at the expense of Murray Hamlin. He wants to get a piece of this action, and I think he wants to add to his goals.
Absolutely fantastic work by Marco Bello. Maintained possession there at centre half back. Was able to kick the ball to McGowan, ran on, got the ball again and delivered it into the forward line. So he's probably ran about 150 metres there, and that direct hard running has led to a goal in Central Districts. The ball goes up, it's Jackson and it's Scholar. None of them are able to put their hand on the ball. Manhood comes in, gives the ball out, looking for Ormond-Allen. Ormond-Allen tries to use a bump at Clonan, the little terrier that he is, puts on a tackle, but it's deemed to be too high, and we'll find Adam Swatala with the ball within the centre square, and he looks to square out towards Gowans. Gowans, terrific mark, and they've paid that. Great work by Murray to actually run back with the fly to the ball, but Gowans was too strong, takes a good mark, swings onto the right, goes forward. Oh, sensational grab. Heath Hopwood, the man of the moment. What an absolute luxury for Alistair Clarkson to take possibly one of his best defenders, Heath Hopwood, put him up to full forward, and already he's starting to exert some influence as a forward, which he's done as a defender all so far this season.
Well, that's certainly too a contender for the Paradise Community Church mark of the day as he leapt for that ball. Heath Hopwood now. Look, there's no one in the goal square at all. What if he missed kicks? In he comes now from about 30, 35 metres, and Heath Hopwood has scored another one here for Centrals. That's his second goal for the afternoon, and Centrals move along now to 24 goals, 3. That is 147, leading South Adelaide 3 goals for 22. Comment from Nick Pesh.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening as you called it, Doug. No one in the goal square. I think the South Adelaide boys have just dropped their bundle a little bit. Time for the experienced leaders of Trent Mills and Clay Sampson to rally the boys and say, look, just keep on it. The game is over. However, we've got to exert some sort of influence and impact on this game and stick to your discipline basics of football.
And at the 19-minute mark of the third stanza here, Central Districts are able to kick their 7th goal. We're back in the centre. Johnson can't get possession. Rick McGowan's come on. Hands it over. Steinburner taps it on nicely. Gowans finds himself on the 50-metre arc. Handballs off to, is that Bello on the right? Oh, and he's pulled it to the left on his right foot, and all through for a point, which is Central District's 4th behind for the afternoon.
Well, you wonder if he'll get a game next week. He's kicked 2 behind so far today, Bello, as well as 2 goals, and been a wonderful player as well.
Okay, Murray short to Chris Hall in the back pocket. Once again, South Adelaide haven't really got too much on here, and Hall standing there looking to give to someone. Sampson's waving his arms around like he's about to take off and fly, but he's not going to kick it out to him. Hall on the left foot goes long, looking to the half-back flank. Ford's up, Rogers is up. The ball's brought to the front, rowed beautifully by Rick McGowan. Off to Bicky Zarnett on the left, he squares up, and you wouldn't believe who's standing there on his own, 30 metres out from goal, Heath Hopwood.
Well, I don't know what, but Heath Hopwood has just been... I know the South pressure is almost non-existent down in defence, but Heath Hopwood, maybe this has given Centrals another option if they need to throw him up forward in the finals. As the applause now for Michael Stevens coming off, and Matty Slade is coming on. Goodness me, there's some talent in this Centrals team. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, good to see Matty Slade come on the ground as Heath Hopwood lines up for a goal. Puts it straight through the middle, and Centrals go on their merry way. And Doug, Alan Murray, number 41, is just starting to get exposed a little bit by Heath Hopwood. Perhaps not picking the correct time to run off his opponent. And look, you don't know when it is the correct time against Central Districts, because they do put so much pressure on the ball carrier, and turnovers can occur at any stage. The execution of the skills by Centrals today, though, 25 goals for. I mean, the foot passing is just phenomenal, but not only that, the clean ball handling. I mean, the Gowans boys, we talk a lot about them, Bello, Arnott, there are so many of them who just one-grab players.
The other good thing to see is from about 30 to 40 metres out, the majority of Central District set shots have gone through, which we'd expect from players of this standard, but quite often we see them miss from that distance, but not today. Central District's absolutely on fire. Okay, a free kick has been found out by one of the Gowans boys, and I think we're going to have a 50-metre penalty by the look of things. It's a little bit of a tussle in the centre of the ground, and the umpire, I think, has gone for the book.
Yeah, actually, there's a trip there, and Damien Rigney has had his number taken, so the umpire is actually laying a report there as he tried to impede the player. So, Nick Pesh.
Yeah, Shane Harris is just screaming at us. I believe he's been reported, so... Look, a little bit unfortunate for young Rigney, who's trying to stop Gowans, who sharked the ball out of the midfield so cleanly. And look, obviously one of the rules which they've got to enforce. But as you see, Gowans go back on the mark now, and Central's boys run everywhere. And how he can come up with a free player by 5 metres beyond me from a set play.
Steinburner on the left goes in short to Healy. Once again, some silky skills executed by the Central District's wingman there, Nathan Steinburner. And we find Nathan Healy about 50 metres out on probably the wrong side for a left footer, reasonably tight angle, and I don't think he's going to go for it, or will he? He's gone high, a bit of a 9-iron, but it is an absolutely magnificent 9-iron, no, but a little to the left, and it is one behind. Geez, it looked good off the boot, Doug, even though it was a very, very high kick.
I wish I could say that could be a handy point for Centrals, but 25-5, 100 and whatever that is to South Adelaide 3-4-22. Well, I guess anything for South this time will be handy, but he's a beautiful kick of the ball, Daniel Healy. We know he kicked 6 for St Kilda against the West Coast here a few years ago. He's a wonderful kick. There's the kick out now, or kick from Murray this time, and he's found his teammate in Damazzi, right down in front of our broadcast point, the former Centrals boy, now the Deputy Vice-Captain of the South Adelaide Panthers. Mark Damazzi looking around the ground, trying to find a target, but just about all players are covered. He's opted to go long down this grandstand wing, down towards half forward. A spectacular leap from behind there by the player there in Hicks, and certainly one of South's better players is Crabb. He kicks the ball very high in the air. Peter Johnson falls on top of it. The umpire waves his hands in the air as if he's about to take off. Umpire Jeff Brown, and he's coming in and will call for a bounce. I thought he was going to go for the mark of the day for a moment, the umpy there, but we've got a few contenders for that one too. We're also looking out for the best brick and pavers best brick and pavers team effort of the day. Boney, you've got the microphone there. Does this indicate that is this your 30-second moment again?
I don't know, but here we go. We've got McGowan with the ball. He's thrown to the ground. Comes out to Chris Gowans, handballs over to Conan Ford with a quick kick up over centre wing. We've got Chris Hall running with the ball now for South, back into the centre of the ground, looking for Alan Murray. He's looking for the bounce. It evades him, goes to Daniel Healy, gets the hand pass out. It's now picked up by Thomas. Thomas with a short kick out finds Simon Arnott. Simon Arnott will give it off to Chris Gowans. Chris Gowans now running towards the half-forward line, kicks it over the half-forward line. Murray Hamlin goes up, no one can take it. It goes down, we found a holding free. It's going against Centrals. It's going to South Adelaide, and it's Trent Orman-Allen. It's going to take the free kick.
Your 30 seconds is up, Boney.
He's about to pass it.
I tell you what, he wasn't going to stop. So that's Boney. That's his 30 seconds. He's had his 2 bursts today, but he normally stands in the outer here at Elizabeth. That's what those people sound like who do those chants. Actually, they're pretty civilised.
It's been a quiet day. We haven't heard the U-Dogs chant yet this afternoon.
We haven't. I think it'll happen, though, in this last in the last quarter. But we're only in the third quarter at the moment as South Adelaide go forward on this occasion. But it's all stopped by the Centrals players. There's a player down there who will balk. It is the captain in Daniel Healy. He's one of the best players on the ground, and so's this boy too in James Gowans. You always get them mixed up, we know that. Comes across the ground now and finds Steinburner. Steinburner down towards half forward, and the mark is taken by Danny Stevens right down in front of our broadcast point.
Stevens just holding the ball up. Actually, umpire Jeff Brown's called play on. Stevens sells a dummy to Nick Manhood, makes him look like he's really struggling to hold the mark there. But as Stevens squares up, it's been intercepted very nicely by South Adelaide, and we'll find the player there. Chris Hall goes in short to Sampson. Sampson out on the right foot, looks for and finds Damien Rigney. Rigney has a bounce. Short again to Jackson Crabb. South just can't seem to get any penetration in their possessions and moving in their forward line. Crabb's called to play on towards Rigney. Rigney throws out the left hand and traps the ball into Manhood. Manhood hurriedly on the left, and it's smothered by Cochrane. Well, I think the ball's just been handballed to himself by Ashley Manuel. I think he's trying to rack up some stats there. And the ball dribbles into the centre-half forward area for South Adelaide. Off the ground, Hicks again, the Dow defender, holds the ball, and I think we'll find that umpire Jeff Brown is given no choice but to take control and bounce the ball. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just another instance of the indecision of the South Adelaide playmakers. No real target across that half-forward line, mucking around with the ball on the half-forward flank just out in front of the grandstand, and really disappointing day for South Adelaide.
Well, it's been a day for the picnic lunches, and it's been a bit like a picnic here today for Centrals. And Davian Cloden, I think, has kicked a goal for South Adelaide. He has. It was a good one. It bounced through. And the little rover, he's been in defence in the last couple of weeks and done very, very well in those positions. But a bit of a struggle today. But Central District still it's an overwhelming lead. 25 goals, 5. 155 to South Adelaide, just 4 goals for 28. We've played 28 minutes of the quarter. Gavin Richardson, more updates.
Yes, AFL updates. The siren is gone. Melbourne have won. The Kangaroos got back in front by 2 points. In the dying minutes, Melbourne kicked a goal and won by 4 points. 17 goals, 9, 111 to Kangaroos. 15 goals, 17, 107. And at the other game, Geelong and Bulldogs, the game's still in progress, but the Bulldogs are up by 12 points.
Okay, well, that won't please Richard Cochrane, who we spoke to, Richard Cochrane Senior, because Stewart, of course, with the Kangaroos after Melbourne got up there by those 4 points. South Adelaide go forward again. Jackson Crabb has been a good player for South today. One of the very, very few. It's going to be Geister, though. Gets the ball across there to his teammate in Hicks. Goes out towards the half-back line. There's players falling on top of the ball. The umpy might have to bounce this one, I think, 55 metres out from the South Adelaide goal.
And you just wonder, as you mentioned, Doug, Jackson Crabb work rate extremely high for South Adelaide today, but perhaps the torpedo punt on the run, running through the centre, probably not the correct option to go for, and they're the little things that are really hurting South Adelaide today.
It's a fair comment too. Comments from Nick Pesh here this afternoon as it's Watara. Very, very skilled player back from Essendon, of course, back to Centrals this year as we find he gets it across there to his teammate on the outer side of the ground. And he's still running the boy out there.
Daniel Healy.
It is Daniel Healy. I thought it was for a moment, and I thought from about 110 metres out he might have had a shot.
I think Daniel Healy had an absolute purple patch that quarter there, and it'd be interesting if we can try and grab some stats to see exactly how many possessions Daniel did have, because he's certainly playing a terrific captain's game. And the other man of the quarter was, of course, Heath Hopwood, who I think kicked 3 goals of Central District's 8 goals for the quarter, and he's really giving them an option and just really highlighting the flexibility that the Bulldogs do have.
Well, we've got about 12 or 13 goal kickers for Central District. Happen to get any of the stats there on any of the Central boys?
Yeah, look, I've got Daniel Healy, 11 possessions that quarter, 27 for the game, and 2 goals won. Chris Gowans also 10 possessions that quarter. They were handballing the ball to each other. That was 26 possessions for Chris and 2 or 3 goals. Heath Hopwood, 7 kicks, 6 handballs, 8 marks and 3 goals. So a great effort from Heath, since he spent the first half in the half-back line. And other high stat getters is Arnott and also James Gowan. So keeping in mind they do rotate these blokes through the bench.
The margin 127 points. Our thanks again to the advertiser for the provision of those statistics. Big Lenny, you've just been down to the South Camp, no doubt. What did Greg Anderson have to say?
A lot calmer, very deliberate, asking his players to get back a bit of respect and run at all costs. He said just keep running in numbers, help your teammates out and run and at least win 1 quarter of football.
Well, the final quarter's just started here, Lenny. We'll get Boney's comments from the Central camp, Alistair Clarkson, in a moment. But Rick McGowan, who's probably the shortest player on the ground, has taken a pretty good mark at centre half forward. Boney, you can steer this one through if you like.
Well, Rick McGowan kicking from about 45, lines up. Looks like it's gone to the right a little bit. No, it's straight through. He's a good kick, Rick McGowan, and that was no exception. So at the huddle, it's very hard to hear. Clarko spoke with a very low tone. There was just a real air of confidence. I suppose it was just more like, let's finish this off. Let's not take our foot off the pedal. That was the emphasis. Let's really run hard. I wouldn't be surprised to see. It's interesting to see Paul Geister down at full forward, which is a really telling move.
Interesting stuff. Ian Bone, who was down at the 3/4 time huddle for Central's Nick Pesh.
Yeah, obviously Heath Hopwood getting a little bit carried away with his 3-goal effort's been moved back to the half-back line. So Clarko obviously very happy with that quarter of footy and a great bow for him.
Boney, Alistair Clarkson didn't say to all the players, look, everyone's got to kick a goal today, did he? You've got 13 goal kickers so far.
That's right. Well, I suppose we put the full back to full forward. It might help matters.
It just might too. You never know.
We can get 18 kicking a single goal at least.
Okay, after that goal, Central's 26-5, 161. South 4-4, 28. The margin now 133 points. It's the Mr. Clip match of the day. Mark Soderstrom.
Alan Murray courageously waits under the ball and takes a good chest mark under a little bit of duress from Paul Thomas. Murray out on the right foot, looks for manhood, but goes up a little too high. But Stevens is cleverly pushed under the ball by Jackson Crabb, and Crabb's able to take the mark and gain possession for South Adelaide on the half-forward flank. Just under the grandstand here. He once again has got nothing to look forward to up forward. He's holding the ball. He's got a chance to probably go inside. He has a couple of players there. He still holds on. He signals that he's going to go long. He kicks to no one in particular at centre half forward. Peter Johnson's up. Terrific spoil by Scholar. Heath Hopwood comes back with the ball, gives it to Fighting Harada, who actually has probably got a little bit cold sitting on the bench that quarter, and the ball slips straight through his fingers. Hopwood butters up, back out to Harada again. Harada on the right foot, looking to kick out and find no one in particular, but big Brennan Jackson's gone to run for the ball, but he's certainly outrun. Marco Bello looks to come in board to centre half forward. Stevens pushes his opponent Cobb under the ball. The umpire calls play on. He goes long to full forward. Great body work, and there's a terrific mark by Central Districts. Probably 12 to 15 metres out, directly in front. Fantastic body work there, and great play by Marco Bello again, turned inboard, and he's actually found the man that Ian Bone was talking about in Paul Geister.
Paul Geister at full forward now. Nick.
Yeah, Paul Geister lining up for his 11th goal in 127 games. So even though he's only 15 metres out, we'll watch this one with great anticipation.
And here comes Paul Geister, the crowd with bated breath. And do they cheer. Paul Geister has put it through. He's been moved to full forward, and Central District on the Mr. Cliff scoreboard move along now to, is that 26 or 27 goals 5? We'll find out in a moment. I think it's 27-5, 167 over South Adelaide, 4-4-28. Gavin, you've got another update.
Yes, looks like Norwood's going to win over North, 18-2, 110 to North, 8-8-66. That's a 54-point margin. Westies looks like they're going to be comfortably home, 11 goals, 9-75 to Glenelg, 6-7-43, a 32-point margin. However, we do have a game at the Adelaide Oval, Sturt, 8-18-66. It's a 4-point margin to Port, 9-8-62. It will keep you posted throughout the rest of the quarter.
Okay, the action just about to get underway here in the Mr. Cliff match of the day. Central's absolutely annihilating South. Comment from Big Lenny Firth from our Brekkie show.
I think from now on we'll name the Central District players who haven't kicked a goal.
That sounds like an easy thing to do.
Much easier. I think there's about 4 of them that haven't kicked a goal.
Well, there's been 14 goal kickers, so, yep, you're about right. There's Jackson Crabb. A hand pass came out there to the player in Derek Murray. It's taken, though, here by Centrals, and it's Heath Hopwood who held the ball for a fair while. The umpy let him get away with it, though, but South it is who come away here through Chris Hall, probably been, certainly, along with Crabb, their best player. It comes through the hands of Damasi, and it's gone through for a minor score, rushed, as they say, and it is a minor score to South, 4-5-29, but Trading Central's 27-5. You heard right, 27 goals, 5, 167 on the Mr. Cliff scoreboard. The final quarter here as we keep our eyes open for the best Brick and Pavers team effort of the day. This boy hasn't stopped trying all day, and he's won the ball a lot. It was Jackson Crabb. I tell you what, it must be frustrating for him. His kick was ill-directed, though, taken by Marco Bello. Wonderful stuff, and finds his lookalike down there in Richard Cochran. Couldn't quite control it, though, across the boundary line for a throw-in, Nick.
And that's something that we've seen all day, Doug. The prime movers for South Adelaide through the midfield, Hall, Crabb and Mills just turning the ball over with their feet, perhaps a little bit too much, and Central's definitely make them pay.
Moments ago, Brendan Jackson was removed from the ground. Todd Steele has come back into the ruck, but we find the pocket dynamo, Matthew Slade, bringing the ball up towards centre-half forward, and he finds Daniel Stevens. Daniel Stevens plays on towards Cochrane. Cochrane has all the time in the world to find Simon Arnott, and Simon Arnott just lopes after the ball, stands, turns, delivers, goes long, and I think that Clay Sampson is just about let it go through his legs. He has let it go through his legs, and we've just seen another goal scored almost in unbelievable fashion there, Nick.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not sure whether Simon Arnott would be too keen to see that one on video. Almost walked around with the ball there around the top of the 50, and if it didn't go through for the goal, I think Alistair Clarkson would have been a little bit dirty. But, yeah, Clay Sampson perhaps got the sun in his eye, because the ball definitely was there to mark, but he just slipped through his hands for a goal, and Central's going their merry way.
In the big thriller down at the Adelaide Oval, Sturt have kicked another goal. It's 11-point margin now over the Port Adelaide Magpies, and this is unbelievable that's happening here, but also for Port Magpies. It could be their 6th loss in a row, but there's still a fair bit of time to go there. There's the bounce up in the centre of the ground, Mark Soderstrom. Okay,
Crabb claims the ball from the bounce, but is wrapped up very nicely by Rick McGowan, and we'll see that umpire Keith Broadbridge, who would probably be able to stand toe-to-toe there with young Damien Clonan, and we could have see who actually is above 1.65 metre. Okay, Broadbridge bounces the ball. Scholar looks to go out. It's McGowan, forces it forward. Handball to Healy. Healy on the left foot, looking for Cochrane, but a little bit too long. Manhood takes him on. Cochrane wraps him up beautifully. Manhood can't find anyone. Oh! McGowan comes with the ball. Manhood again has seemed to have taken someone else on, and Trent Mills seems to have thrown one at Rick McGowan, while Central Districts maintain possession at the top of the square. The ball's thrown out to Chris Hall, who, as we have called on numerous occasions today, is doing quite well for South Adelaide. Ball over, and we've got big Jake Kearney in the centre. Can't quite take the mark, but he is rewarded with a free kick.
Kearney Dale, the former Sturt boy, came across from the Gippsland Power. He's got the head heavily bandaged, one of those Pat Cash type things around his head. He finds Peter Johnson racing through the centre of the ground here. We find South Adelaide there through the player in Sampson. Up towards full 40 goes. Damasi was down there, couldn't take the mark. Central District defenders come in, and as the big shadows go right across the Central District ground here, it is going to be a bounce up 30 metres out from the South Adelaide goal.
Doug, we saw early on in the game that there was a little bit of physicality shown between the two clubs, and then it did quiet down for 2 quarters, but actually I don't even know if physicality is a word, but anyway, we'll use it. But we've just seen a little bit of fire in the South Adelaide players in the last couple of minutes. Damasi gives the ball off to Manuel. Manuel on the left goes high, but he certainly won't make the distance. And surprise, surprise, an uncontested mark is taken by Central Districts in Michael Stevens all alone in the goal square. Stevens looks to play on, he goes wide on the right foot, cleverly finds Daniel Healy. Healy, no, it's actually Hicks. Hicks on the right goes high and looking for Scholar, but Jake Kearney's in front there, and we just see a quick change. Nathan Steinburner comes on, and it is another luxury to have a quality player like Steinburner come on.
And a luxury to take Heath Hopwood off too, isn't it?
Certainly is. South Adelaide deep into attack. Hicks across the front. The ball's brought to the front to the feet, and South Adelaide are unable to maintain possession here. Central District's about to clear the ball. Swatala turns around, looks for the safety of the boundary line. It's a very well measured kick, and we find ourselves on the Central District's half-back line out of side.
28-5, 173 to Central's on the Mr. Cliff scoreboard to South, 4-5-29. Nick, you're keeping an eye on things?
Yeah, just quickly, Daniel Healy ran off the ground. I thought there for a second no one was going to run on. I thought that was a little bit too harsh, but Chris Gowans makes his way out on the ground.
And the action back now with Central District. They're running through the centre. That looks like Michael Stevens the way he's running. Yes, it is. The boy from Port Power. In towards centre half forward he goes. It was carried a little bit too much for the players there. Picked up by Centrals again. They've done stacks of that today. Marco Bello, great ball handling. Across now to Chris Gowans. A lovely hand pass. And finds his brother, James. And James Gowans has kicked his 3rd goal for the afternoon. And Central District's 29. They're 29 goals, 5, 179. They're leading South Adelaide, 4-5-29. The margin is 150 points.
And I'm assured by the Central District stats guys next to me that both Gowans are very competitive with goals. So even though great little handball there by Chris, I don't think he'll be too keen on James running past and tapping him on the bum and saying thanks for 3 goals and all square at the moment.
Big Lenny Firth from the great Aussie Brecky. Enjoying it, Lenny?
Oh, this is sensational. I think all that remains now is for Central Districts to post their 30th goal on the board, and this crowd's going to go berserk.
I think they will, no doubt about that. There's Jackson Crabb battling for the ball in there for South Adelaide. A few Central boys in there too, as you might imagine. And the umpy comes in and calls for another bounce.
Interesting to note that Todd Steele's doing a great job in the ruck up against Paul Scholar, giving away a number of inches, but really battling hard here for the South Adelaide team.
Todd Steele has a good leap, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but this time it's not effective. It's taken by Rick McGowan. He got it out there to his teammate. It was Stevens. Back to McGowan, down towards half forward. There's the mark taken by Hamlin as he fell. It was Michael Stevens who was grabbed as he kicked that ball in towards centre half forward. It's taken here by Chris Gowans, gets it across here to Arnott, and Vicky's Arnott is right off target with that one and puts it through for a goal. Oh my goodness. My apologies there to all the Arnott family.
I think, Doug, you may have been distracted by the fact that the goal umpire just about ran past the point post to call that one, then trottles back to between the goal posts and sticks the 2 fingers up.
You know, I reckon the crowd has increased as the score has increased. It's a bit like when... Oh, goodness me. They've started here beside us. Unbelievable. And they're part of our broadcast.
As mentioned earlier, we hadn't heard the familiar U Dogs call, which normally goes around Elizabeth Oval about this time. But Big Lenny Firth and Ian Bone have just tried to get the crowd in the grandstand to initiate the U Dogs call for today's game.
As we broadcast our game, the margin here now is 156 points. Central's 35 on the Mr. Clip scoreboard, 185. South Adelaide 4-5-29. A goal to Port Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval. Sturt now lead by only 5 points. There is a thriller in the centre of town. Mark Soderstrom, make something of this game, please.
Well, there's certainly no thriller up here at Elizabeth Oval as Central Districts go into attack again. The ball's punched forward. Chris Hall onto his trusty left foot is looking for Murray. Beautifully measured kick. Murray is able to take the mark but is held up well by Tyson Hay. Murray gives to the outer wing and finds Sampson. Sampson runs through again, and South Adelaide a little bit sloppy here around half forward, but they are able to push the ball deep into their 50. Hicks over the top, tries to claim the mark. The crowd thinks that he deserves it, but it certainly won't be paid. Michael Stevens, like a terrier that he is, pounces on the ball and we'll find that we're going to have another ball up about 20 metres out of the goal square.
I reckon if Michael was playing with Port Power, he might have got pinged for that one. I could be wrong, but I thought that he pounced on the ball and really, you know, AFL bang, they're really quick on that one. But anyway, having said that, it's not going to affect the result of this game. There's a snapshot, the goal by Trent Horman out, and I tell you what, it is a minor score. It had me excited there for a moment. South Adelaide 4-6-30, but they trail Centrals on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. 30 goals 5, 185. Nick?
Be interesting to note South Adelaide have gone back into a zone formation for Central's kick-outs. Obviously, the zone didn't work early on in the game. They went to a man-on-man, which also didn't work, and as we can see, it's breaking down again at the moment.
Matthew Slade brings the ball out of half-back, looking for and finding Hicks. Hicks takes another good contested mark. The South Adelaide player's opponent looks like he's hurt himself. We'll pick up who he is in a moment.
I think it might be Manuel.
It's Manuel there, but Hicks dances around, plays on and looks for Chris Gowans, or is that James Gowans? Look for James Gowans, but Gowans is content to see the ball over the line. Nick Pesh.
And if it is Manuel, he's back on his feet now, holding his arm, so he's coming straight off the ground, so he may have broken a finger or may have even damaged a wrist, which is not good news for South Adelaide.
Nick, it seems that Sturt have just kicked another goal, so they're by 11 points in front now. But Big Lenny, you've got a word of wisdom there for us?
Oh, look, I'm just looking for my 30 seconds of fame.
You reckon you can... Will we give him 30 seconds of fame? Go for it. Come on, Lenny, away you go.
All right. Now, we thought we had a mark there. Right out front, we thought we had a mark. Do we have a... No, it's just gone through for a behind. The umpire doing a glorious job there, waving the flags. South Adelaide brings it back into attack. Run at all cost was the command from Greg Anderson, and they're doing just that, South Adelaide, but they're severely outnumbered. Centre half forward, Crab with the ball. Got a little bit of time, finds Murray in the centre of the ground. Murray out to the wing, Damasi running strongly with the ball. Who's he going to find up forward? Trent Orman-Allen. Oh, just missed, but still got control of the ball.
This is Harmsdorf this time, or Landorf, who was off.
That was me 30 seconds, mate. I'm sorry.
You'd ran out of puff after 30 seconds. You had to get some training. Go and see your personal fitness advisor. I tell you, Central's 36, 186, South Adelaide 4-6-30. I tell you what, you can't normally shut him up, Mark. But that time we did. That was a bit of fun, though, here in the game. It's still a game after all as Peter Johnson grabs it now for South Adelaide, the boy from Northern Territory. It lands, it bounced awkwardly there off the knee, I think it was, of Kruger. He went for a hand pass. Big Geister was down there, but South Adelaide defence is too strong this time. There's a hand pass that comes out there again from Kruger, the boy from Victor Harbour. We've given them a few plates today. Victor, lovely place to be. I bet it's nice down there today too. The kick in towards centre half forward. It's taken here by Central District. They drive it across here in the direction of Simon Arnott. What will he do this time? Coming in there using his weight was Alan Murray. He couldn't pick it up. It's picked up though here by Simon Arnott. Back there to Michael Stevens. He drops the ball in short. Knocked away by the South Adelaide defender in Cobb. It will be picked up here. No, it won't be. Dragging the ball back in was the Central boy. Got it across to Arnott once again. A chance here for, it's Chris Gowans this time. The umpy says a free kick, and he's going to pay the advantage, and Marco Bello has kicked his third goal this afternoon. And Central District make it 31 goals, 192 over South Adelaide, just 4 goals, 630. I guess the big thing now, can they get the 200 points? Nick Pesh.
Yeah, not a good sign for South Adelaide. About 3 or 4 of their players, hands on the hips. Unfortunately for those guys, it's only 17 minutes gone in the last quarter. They've still got to run out this game, and for their case, although the game has blown out, yes, we don't want to see a 35-36 goal scoreline against South Adelaide.
It's not good for footy, really, in all honesty. I mean, it's been champagne footy by Centrals, but I don't think we'd like to see blowouts like this. I mean, if you're a Central supporter, of course you love it, but I think for the overall game, great tackle there by Trent Mills on Matthew Slade. I love that endeavour by Mills. As Centrals go forward again this time, it was Chris Gowans, and they're still going in hard. You've got to really, Centrals realise just how important every game is, and Bello, he was too good, as I heard Big Lenny call that. Almost a mark. It'll be paid, will it? It'll be a goal anyway to Centrals. It'll be a goal, and it's James Gowans, I think, who's put this one through. And that'll be James Gowans' 4th goal for the afternoon. And that's the 200 points, is it?
No, 198.
198. Central's 32 goals, 6, 198. South Adelaide 4, 6:30. These two guys are even competing with the PA system here, I'll tell you what.
Doug, we see that Central have moved out to a massive 168-point lead. And as Nick mentioned before, only 18 minutes into the last quarter. Nick?
Yeah, just look, an example of Central District's strength and experience around the ground. Rick McGowan there was tackled by 3 South Adelaide players, but still could execute a half-decent handball to free up the Central District runners, and a goal resulted.
As Trent Mills now for South Adelaide, one of their co-captains, went to kick the ball. He was smothered though, and the magnificent teamwork of Central's. It was McGowan, got it across to Schooler. It's taken here by the player in Cochrane. It came unstuck a little bit there, and South go forward, and the mark taken on the 50-metre line by Trent Orman-Allen. Just waiting now for a couple of options. Tim Rogers, it may be the target down there, but he's got Brian Harada as his immediate opponent, one of the best defenders in the competition, and rewarded with state squad selection this year. In comes Orman-Allen now. A little bit too far out to score. It's going to go close, but it's all Centrals, and dropping back and taking the mark there is big Paul Schooler.
Schooler gives off to Slade. Slade on the right, goes to the outer side, looking for a player in Stevens. Stevens up towards the wing, looks for Gowans. Gowans is able to turn his opponent inside out and go straight back into his brother. And we see that Chris Gowans up forward, looking for and able to find Paul Geister. No, it's not Paul Geister. He's slotted back, and he's found Stevens. We'll kick from 50 metres out, looking to score Central District's 33 goal. And so far today, Daniel Stevens has been able to kick 2 goals and looking to join a handful of other Central District's players on 3 goals. He comes in on the right foot from about 40 metres out. The kick is absolutely magnificent. It splits the centre, and as mentioned, he scores Central District's 33rd goal for the afternoon. Yes, you hear it right, their 33rd goal. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, just look, we've been calling it all day how such a picture-perfect day, but the skill level of the Central District side is evident. That scoreboard, 33 goals, 6 points, is something that you wouldn't see very often, and a great example of the well-drilled, skilled Central District's midfield and forwards.
Well, the action back in the centre of the ground again. Magnificent setting here, isn't it? Just glorious. Looking out there at the hills, the sun just coming off the hills, and a couple of birds just floating by there. I think they're enjoying the spectacle too. It's Central District on the Mr. Clip scoreboard, leading here by 174 points. And the action still with Central's Richard Cochrane got the hand pass out there to Matty Slade. The teacher from Craigmore kicks down towards half forward. The race is on for it. James Gowans leads there, but it's going to beat him across the line, and there will be a throw-in. It's on the half-forward line, Central District in attack at the moment. Mark.
Doug, what is good to see is that all the Central runners are still working very, very hard, and we could see the ball going towards the boundary line there, and still Gowans and Bellow sprint as hard as they can to get out there, so they certainly aren't resting on their laurels here. The ball's brought back in towards the Central District's forward line. Stevens on the left, goes in short for Geister. The kick doesn't find its mark, but still Central Districts are good enough to mop up, and I think we're about to see another goal being called here. And Central District slot through goal number 34. And we're just trying to pick up who kicked that there.
Well, I think the players have got sore hands from slapping teammates on the back. Who kicked that one, Nick?
Hamlin.
It was Paul
Murray
Geister.
Hamlin was able to kick his 4th.
That was Murray Hamlin, we're told, was it? So
Yeah, Murray Hamlin.
It's Hamlin. It's either Hamlin or Geister. We'll find it. It was Hamlin who got it. We're getting a consensus in. All those in favour of Hamlin, show your hands.
Okay, the Central District's statisticians have gone with Hamlin, so that's good enough for us. As we see the ball come out through the centre, Gowans again, James Gowans swings on the right, this time inaccurately, surprise, surprise, and is able to score Central District's 7th point for the day.
How about that? Their own supporters booing them when they score. You don't see that too often. But that's the way it is on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. Central's 34 goals, 7 leading South, just 4 goals, 6. We'll keep our eyes open still for the best brick and pavers team effort of the day. One player seemed to go for a little bit of a tumble here. Hello, it's on between a couple of boys. The 2 number 8s, I think might be a little bit up.
Stevens.
And Danny Stevens, a little bit upset with each other. And Gavin, you gave us a little message down the headphones, but the noise was so loud here. There was something about Glenelg, I think. What's been happening down at the bay? Well, we'll get something from Gavin in just a few moments. This time it's Central's mopping up in defence. Adam Swatala got the hand pass out there to Paul Thomas, the son of Jamie, in turn across to Steinberner. There he goes, across to Marco Bello. Marco Bello, who's been absolutely brilliant today. And how you're going to pick 3 players out of this for votes, I don't know. Simon Arnott kicks the ball into centre-half forward after taking that mark. A chance now for Geiser to kick a goal. He doesn't. He goes short. Goes across to a teammate down there, and it could be another goal. It's a shocking kick this time, and it's taken here by the South Adelaide boy down there in that last line of defence who hand passes it through. No, his name is not Gutless, and he did the right thing.
I think Lenny Firth very, very harsh with his comments there, because Kim Cobb looked around. He probably didn't have a South Adelaide defender within about 20 metres of him, and he's gone for the safety of the behinds there. The ball's brought in. Trent Ormanell and takes the mark and looks upfield. Goes in short to Rigney, who's finished wrestling with Stevenson before. Takes a beautiful one-handed mark on the left hand. Rigney up to the wing. Bello contesting. Oh, good body work by Clay Sampson, and I think Jeff Brown's paid the mark here.
I think it is a mark too, actually, there to the South boy, and yes, it is a mark.
It's actually Jackson Crabb.
We can see the ump for the Central District's runner's actually gone out to Danny Stevens. I'm sure just letting him know that there's only a few minutes to go and settle down. We don't need a report now, and as we can remember last year, Danny Stevens missed out on the grand final because of a 1-game suspension, so I'm sure they'll be reminding him of him that there's bigger fish to fry.
Trent Mills now for South Adelaide, down towards centre-half forward, down towards the half-forward flank at least. It's taken, though, here by, there's a player pushed over after a kick. It was Swatala, and it was Tim Rogers. Big Tim just absolutely frustrated. The umpire will come in and just have a quiet word to him. Rick McGowan drops the ball in short. It's now on the half-forward line for Central District, and they have a chance now to score their 35th goal for the afternoon.
And the strength of Central District's runners is absolutely amazing, because when McGowan was choosing who to pick to there, he probably had 4 or 5 targets, and he did end up selecting Gowans. And then when Gowans maintained possession, there were another couple still running hard to try and get the ball. Gowans will kick from about 48 metres out on his trusty right foot. The ball looks like it's drifted slightly to the right, and once again the boos come up from the faithful here at Elizabeth, who aren't too happy with these points that Centrals have been scoring in the last quarter.
Sturt lead by 19 points. We've just heard from the Adelaide Oval over Port Adelaide as the moon, the full moon tonight, rises there over the hills. It's a beautiful setting. I've mentioned that a few times here this afternoon. So to all the South supporters, you won't be enjoying the footy, I know, but enjoy the scenery if you've made the trip up from Noarlunga. It is quite stunning there. Absolutely magnificent. Should be a good night to get out tonight. And, well, just look up in the stars. There's been a few stars here today too for Central District, as the South kick-out is marked here by Damien Rigney. He's looking for options. He'll find Trent Ormanell on the half-back flank here for South Adelaide. But just playing out time now. 26 minutes of the final quarter gone. It is Central District leading by 183 points. A hand pass comes across to Kim Cobb now. Running through the centre of the ground. Clever football. 1 bounce, 2 bounces. What's he going to do this time? He drives it out here to Mark Damazzi. Up over the top of him was Harada. Couldn't take it. Damien Hicks was in there. He got the tap on there in the direction of Harada. Comes back to, well, it doesn't come back to anybody in his team, and it's knocked across the boundary line, and Danny Stevens has been taken off here by Alistair Clarkson, and probably a very, very wise move. Sturt have won over Port Magpies by 19 points, it would seem. Certainly they've beaten Port Magpies in the game at the Adelaide Oval. Very close one, though. And Swatala now for Central District with the ball. Down towards the wing he goes. Knocked away by Manhood, though, from his central opponent, but the hand pass from Cochrane came back in the direction of a Central player. Another hand pass there was taken there. That's Cochrane this time. He goes down towards half forward. Murray Hamblin tries to trap it there. Couldn't do so. Knocked across here to the South boy. Is that Rogers playing deep down in defence down there? No, it's not. It's Kim Cobb again. Boy, they look alike until Kim Cobb kicks with that left foot of his. But his mark, his kick at least, is marked here by Central District. It's one of the Gowans boys. On to Simon Arnott. I'm out of breath. Mark Soderstrom.
Arnott goes into centre half forward. The ball sharked by Paul Thomas. He goes high. No, to no one in particular, but he's able to find another Central District's player who is on his own. And this time it's Heath Hopwood, who's just returned onto the field replacing Stevens. Hopwood will find himself around about 25 metres out, and he'll be going for his 4th goal, I believe, Doug.
He's kicked 3.
Had that fantastic third quarter where he kicked 3. Straight back on the ground. He hasn't been on for more than a minute, and here he is lining up for his 4th goal. The kick is on its way, and as you can hear from the crowd, he has kicked truly Keith Hopwood has now kicked 4 goals, 1 in the last half of this game. At the 27-minute mark, just clicking over the 28th-minute mark, Central Districts are absolutely destroying South Adelaide here. 35 goals, 219 to South Adelaide, 4 goals, 630. Nick Pesh.
Yeah, look, obviously a great learning experience here for the South Adelaide boys. They'll come up against, I think it's Glenelg at Noarlunga next week with a real attitude to play good, hard footy, try and be competitive like they did earlier on in the game today, and hopefully they'll be a little bit more successful next week. Obviously, with the results of today, they'll still maintain their spot in the 5, and big opportunity for South Adelaide next week down at Noarlunga.
The word freakish comes to mind when you describe Central's performance today. We know they've got the skills, but this has just been phenomenal. There's the bounce up in the centre of the ground. Brendan Jackson got the tap out across to Crabb. Kicked on by Mills, though. Ill-directed, but will be taken in by South Adelaide. Landorf, it is who gets the ball in towards centre half forward, but it's all Centrals. And Damien Hicks, he's played a superb game too there. Goes out towards the wing. He finds Richard Cochrane out there, son of the great Richard Cochrane. In towards centre half forward goes Richard Cochrane Jr., obviously. Picked up here, though, by, it is Chris Gowans over his shoulder. It'll be picked up, though, by Murray Hamlin deep in the forward pocket. He's going to centre the ball. That's good team play. And Michael Stevens, it is, unguarded, unchecked, 15 metres out from goal, almost directly in front, has taken the mark.
Doug, what was fantastic there was Matthew Slade, Central District's smallest player, was able to use his body and provide protection for Stevens to take that mark. And just as we hear the siren go, we'll see Michael Stevens line up for what will be his 3rd goal if he's accurate enough to kick it. He's about 12 metres out. He goes back, he goes straight. Central Districts kick their 36th goal and end up on 36-9, 225, have easily accounted for South Adelaide, who end up on 4 goals, 630.
Let's get a quick comment from Nick in a moment, but first of all, we'll see if we can get that Central song played over the speaker here, because for all the Central supporters, this has been magnificent. No, we'll turn it down now as the booming voice of the ground announcer Richard Berry comes over. It is 36 goals, 9 to Central District at our game on the Mr. Clip scoreboard. 225 have defeated South Adelaide, 4 goals, 630. And West Adelaide have defeated Glenelg, and a huge win by Norwood over their opponents, North Adelaide, today in the SANFL. We'll get full scores from Gavin in just a moment. But we'll run through the goal kickers here. Central District 36-9, 225 have defeated South Adelaide, 4 goals, 6, just 30. And the goal kickers here, I've almost run out of pen, but we had 4 goals apiece to Murray Hamlin, James Gowans and Heath Hopwood. Then there were 3 goals to Marco Bello, Simon Arnott. 3 goals also to Danny Stevens and Michael Stevens. Then we had 2 goals to Kynan Ford, Chris Gowans, Paul Schooler, and also Daniel Healy. And there was the 1 solitary goal kicked there by Rick McGowan. While for South Adelaide, their goals were kicked by Jackson Crabb, who kicked 2, and we had singles to Damien Clonan and also Alan Murray. So the margin, 195 points here at the Elizabeth Oval. Central's 36-9, 225, South Adelaide 4-6, 30. This is where local footy has come to life.